appear on camera here. Oh my God! Hey everybody, how you doing today?
Pretty good, man. How the fuck you doing?
I'm doing
Pretty
all
sure
right.
We're still muted.
Middling at best.
I'm
Yeah,
all right.
probably.
Hey everybody, I'm Soul Roast. These are my friends. Welcome back to our continuing game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today, is my head cut off on that?
Probably. Yeah, because your banner. We'll adjust that at the break.
Oh no, look what you've
As
done.
I just like
Relax,
slowly
Soul.
melt away.
Seeing the top of his head.
So welcome back to our continuing game of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Today we're doing things and stuff. With 100% more stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us yesterday. If you guys were hanging out during Monster Hunter Monday,
I was hanging out.
We were-
not in the chat.
I heard you giggling a couple times
Yeah.
while we were fighting Elder Dragons quite successfully, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with 100% more muting on our side.
They got muted again?
We always get muted.
I only muted them once, and it was during one of the breaks because they were being cheesy.
And we said some nice shit.
They didn't.
I mean, you can't prove it.
That's true. I can't.
They didn't.
I
Prove
can't
me
prove.
Wrong.
Right? So, yesterday we had some, thanks to everybody that was chatting with us. We had a bunch of people hanging out. Shout out to Chocolate Taco Films for the follow last week.
Hey.
Appreciate it.
I know who you are.
I think that's it. If we have, we're doing a D&D related giveaway at 200 followers or 10 subs, whichever one comes first. Let me go ahead and get rid of all this stuff.
And we
that's
are
happening on my
infinitely
phone.
closer to one than the other.
It's
Always.
true. That's
We are
how science.
always
Well,
closer.
I wonder though, at what point will the science happen?
I just slowly keep getting closer to the sun.
Might as well be walking on the sun. We switched the layout around a little bit because I'm in the process of moving. So as the moving happens, you may see some minor changes for the next couple little weeks. But I'm trying to avoid like missing a week. In all honesty, I would like to get all the movement stuff done and everything set back up and ready to roll. So we're not late. But we know how that works, and it probably
We're
won't.
never late.
I can't even take myself seriously. So that being said, I think that's everything. There is no Ambrosia. I disabled it again.
Why?
I don't need you guys having an out. I thought to myself, what would happen You know, if it was like the healing one and somebody was feeling awful generous, and I'd rather the suffering.
Well, I think we
happen.
need watchers first.
Haha. Yes.
Oh, self-burn.
Ooh, that's mean.
Ooh, that actually hurt a little bit.
Ha! Right in my good joke. Let me go ahead and get some miniatures out. You guys got anything fantastic to talk about?
So,
So,
I do.
oh god.
That dice from last game
Yes.
went home. And I put it in the vice,
Mm-hmm.
and holy shit, dodecahedrons. Those motherfuckers are sturdy.
Yeah.
As they should be.
I did not have the vice slip, but it came very close, and I can no longer twist the arm out of my own power. So I need to find a piece of pipe, because I'm shattering that fucker.
Man!
I tried to record it, and it just
Didn't do anything?
It just did. It just
Wow.
it's. I mean, there's houses out here built that are D20s. Those geodesic domes they make, those are D20s that they build out here because they do so well in the high wind and shit
Maybe
like that.
it's that dice is full of so much evil that
I-
like, normally they break. but
I
that
am
one-
I am gonna set my little camera up and I'm gonna destroy that dice under just stress and pressure to the point where it shatters so bad I'm gonna wish that I had a pair of safety glasses at home. Because despite being a carpenter who works in a shop, I don't have my own personal pair of safety goggles.
Oh my god.
So-
Yeah, just take them
Safety
to work
goggles are for nerds.
and then
Well,
bring
if
them.
you have eyes. Have I ever told you that story?
Maybe.
I was in my shop. I was cutting up a piece of security fence.
Mm-hmm.
We installed the security wall. It had a locking door in it, but it needed to go up against the place where there were stairs. So we had to cut the bottom like weird shape off. Best way to do that is with a reciprocating saw. I happen to have a reciprocating saw.
Mhm.
And so we measured everything out. We got it measured like 3 times. Make sure we're gonna fuck it up because we only had the one gate.
Mm-hmm.
And got everything ready. And I was alone in my shop, all by myself, no students, no nothing. And I set it down on the table. I didn't secure it down because I'm a moron. And so I got the reciprocating saw, which was old and disused. So I put a new blade in it. And I sat there and I plugged it in. I got ready. I was about to make a cut. And as I went to pull the trigger, I went, I should put on some safety glasses. And then I went, there's nobody here. Like nobody's around. Nobody's coming through. I don't need to put on safety glasses.
No one will
And
know
I
if I
took
get
my gun and
hurt.
I went, they're right fucking there. The cage is it's literally less than 10 feet away from me. So I go, all right, and I put the saw down. I go over and I grab a pair of squints and put them on. And I go, all right, and I line up and I go to take my first cut, and the saw bites into it, pulls back and pushes forward. The entire safety fence goes shink shink like that with it because it's not attached to the table because aforementioned idiot. And the blade flexes and wasn't actually pinned into the saw. The saw locked down but didn't close because the action was old and hadn't been used. So the blade compressed and then sprung out, hit the fence, and hit me right in the fucking safety glasses.
Oh my
I
God.
still have them. They have a scratch on them right in the middle of the eye. And I went, huh. I'm really glad I put those on.
So to answer your question, safety glasses are important. And Ambrosia is you can donate biddies to grant bonuses to players.
Hey.
Usually we have them up, but I've been
It's a
take-
rotating,
it's random.
chaotic factor we occasionally throw into games where if somebody donates, what was it, 200 bits?
Yeah, 200 biddies. You can add a
$2,
D4,
You can give anybody you like a D4 or how many?
D6,
400 bits for D6?
300.
300 bits for a D6. And then they can add that to anything they want. You can give it to any player, or you can give it to the DM, like I have done in the past. When I dropped a huge amount
10
of
bucks.
bits. Didn't-
Yeah, it was like 10 bucks worth.
No, I think I dropped like $50 in the chat.
It was a bunch once.
Because I got drunk and bought bits. That's the only time I buy bits. Is when I'm hammered.
Obviously.
And then I spend them all in like 3 channels, and I got drunk and spent bits and passed out and woke up and I still had, I think it was $20. And
Probably.
I had a bunch left over and I was like, oh shit.
We're doing this.
So, and I made those monsters really strong and lucky.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into it. As a quick recap of what happened last time, the party began investigating their investigation of the ghost ship in dramatic fashion. Against the raised remnants of the previous boarding party, those desiccated corpses lashed out as soon as they were approached. Party fought them off,
Jerks.
was victorious.
Ish. Ish.
After defeating the initial denizens of Undead, the party scoured the top deck until a few of the party members began poking around the captain's quarters. After a few attempts to enter the quarters, much to the dismay of the ghostly captain waiting within, the party managed to provoke his wrath, and a lengthy battle ensued. After the harrowing battle, ending with most of the party unconscious, many potions expended, and the party's remaining members on the brink of death, our story continues. So make sure you mark off your potions that you used.
I mean, I got one and used it.
I think everybody's out.
So
No, they are not. But you don't know that.
I don't know that.
So, with that being said, that is where we begin. The party in various states of disarray. I think we have Zongak. Go ahead and make a death saving throw for me, please.
Oh my God! The starts.
12.
That is one success.
Success.
Mr. I will give you your magic
Copy that.
spell here momentarily.
Once the ghost captain keels over and falls dead, I picked up his weapons, which I don't have a thing for either one of them, but that's, I'm not worried. Yeah, I figured. And I'm going to, is that a pistol and a sword, right?
Correct.
I'm going to stow them on my bandolier thing.
Okay.
So just kind of gangsta stuff them.
Right. Wherever you can fit them.
Well, I think it's an X, and so I got 2 sides, so I'll chunk and chunk, and I'll look like that dude with the bombs from Pirates.
All right. Yeah.
And
I like it. Good reference.
Yeah.
Solid.
And then I'll start going around and taking stock of the people who are on the ground still.
Well, amongst your party, you have Lucrezia. Are you unconscious or awake?
I was unconscious.
She's
I'm
stable.
stable, not awake though.
Okay. Rashid is down. I think he had like 1 health left. Zongak is unconscious. Can I have you make another death saving throw, sir?
If I see Zongak unconscious, I'm gonna run over to him.
That's a failure.
Oh no!
1 failure. And Mr. Maz barely standing as well. Up on the top
I'm
deck
over
there.
to Zongak.
Okay.
Start to attempt to try and help him.
Mm-hmm.
Realize that I don't know anything about human anatomy, let alone goblin or Zongak anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna make a deep sigh. I'm gonna pull out my last healing potion.
Pop it in
Stick
his
it
gourd.
mouth and just
Massage the throat.
No, you just spin it and it goes like water down a
So you're like
drain.
suddenly choking, but you feel better afterwards. After the burn stops and the you feel the tinge of it in the back of your nose, like it was gonna come out.
I know better than that. I'm not rolling.
Here's a real
I
question.
made you and you're monster.
If you get potion in your lungs,
Does
is
it
it bad
heal?
for you?
Yeah. Anything,
Better!
anything in your lungs is bad for
But
no,
it's
it just goes
healing.
through the main brain and heals you.
Yeah.
It absorbs into your body faster.
You
Remember.
get
and you get a hell of a high.
7 hit points.
You find yourself shooting up, bottle still in the mouth. Makes a little sound when it plops out.
I mean, do you have the highest health of any of us right now?
No.
7.
Fair enough.
Oh god, I don't.
No, you don't
I'm
have
used
a
to
lot.
having a lot of health. I have a singular hit point.
Same here.
Uno mas. So, with that being said, you guys find yourselves on the top deck of the.
That strength potion didn't do dick for my health, right?
You got a 21 strength for an hour. It's only been like 6 seconds.
You can lift so many things.
You got a little bump on your on your. Oh my! On a
No, it's
little-
just a metal.
Right.
Yeah. That way.
Yeah, huh.
That's how muscles work.
But yeah, you
So-
guys you find yourself along the top deck. The wind blows quite calmly over the front. It's a little bit chilly out. The whole boat kind of groans as it just, moves side to side very slowly in the water. It's dark.
I would like to, with my newfound strength, I'm going to go over and grab barrels that we cut loose, and I'm going to barricade the doors with them.
Okay.
So just lay them out in front of the doors.
The ones underneath, or yeah, where the barrels were underneath that. On
Yeah.
the front.
Where
At
the,
the-
Any,
the
the ones that I saw that led downstairs, and then other side as well, just assuming it was the same.
okay. So
I
you,
figured that'll take my hour.
okay. Yeah, you take the pick them up easy enough.
Yeah.
I
Feels
will
strangely easy.
then spend my hour picking Lucrezia up and taking her into the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Assuming we're safe now.
Assuming away.
I
Assume
don't know.
away.
If I see him going to the captain's quarters, I go, yeah, that's empty now.
Oh,
There's some
good.
nice armor in there though. It's the stuff he was wearing.
Ooh, nice. And then I will take her and put her
From the
on a
Midwest
bed.
for some reason.
Also, there's a lot of skeletons down below Swabin.
Let's hope that they
Yeah,
stay
let's
down
not
below.
bother them.
They also saw me in the Lucrezia.
Oh, God damn it.
I'm working on it.
Thank you.
Okay. So, you walk into the, you take Lucrezia into the captain's quarters. As soon as you walk in, you're basically greeted by the center mast pole that runs through that whole, the whole room. You move your way around that. You see a large circular type table that's currently covered in parchment, maps, things like that. And then beyond that, you see a smaller table with a chair that's kind of overturned now. There's rotten food currently resting on top of that. There's a bed on the right-hand side. The back wall is an entire one large picture window. On the left-hand side of the room, you see an armor stand that is currently adorned with the captain's sort of regalia. And then you see a hanging rack with a bunch of different types of clothing on it. But that's pretty much it. A chest currently resides on one end.
Alright, I will set her on the bed and try to cover her with probably whatever moth-eaten blanket is there.
Uh-huh.
And then I will go to the map table.
Okay.
And I'd like to just search it, see what the maps have. Are they new, old, accurate-ish?
Do you have proficiency in navigation tools
Nope.
or in sea vehicles?
New.
Then make an investigation check at disadvantage. please.
Copy that. That's 4. That's 11.
4.
And investigation is going to be 6.
These maps are quite detailed and quite well drawn. They seem to be plotting a number of courses, but due to the weird kind of the way they use curves in nautical maps, it might as well just be written in another language.
But it's detailed.
It is very
And
detailed.
that
Yeah.
means somebody could probably read it.
Somebody probably could, yes.
Alright, cool.
Probably people on the we were on.
Maybe.
Ask one of the skeletons. Maybe he knows.
Yeah.
Morse code.
What do you eat? I will bribe you with that. But you can tell me what it is first.
It's just like biting your arm.
Hey,
Fine.
This is
Alright,
fine.
What does that
and
map say?
hey.
moving over to the captain's regalia.
Uh-huh.
Can I gauge what kind of armor that is?
He seems to be wearing. He has a breastplate that is currently mounted. Breastplate. There's an overcoat resting over top of it. There's nice boots at the bottom. There's a tricorn hat with a bandana currently resting on there. There's a stone kind of placed precariously. Looks like a nice gem placed on top. It's not in the hat, but it's on top of the hat.
Resting there?
Yeah, and then there's what appears to be a 3-beaded sort of bracelet that's hanging off the armor stand.
I bet Zelgak would like that hat. I'll take the hat.
You take the hat. As you take it, the little stone falls on the ground.
No, don't pick this up.
You touch the
Lick
stone
it,
with your
you
bare
gotta
skin.
You grab it.
Oh.
You notice that as you pick it up, it begins to kind of vibrate.
Ooh,
little bit.
boy. Does it fit back into the hat?
It wasn't. It was just placed on top of that.
Oh man.
Used like a shelf.
Oh man. This pocket.
It as you let go of it, it begins circling your head, like a little orbit, just very slowly begins kind of floating around your nugget.
I don't like that. I don't like this.
It's a targeting device for
Right.
Space cannon.
Oh my God.
Space gunpowder.
They go,
It's an ion stone of missile attraction.
Sweet.
Anytime somebody
Frankie.
shoots, just hits him. Ah! No, that'd be
Um,
terrible.
And then I'll take a look at the
Amazing.
bracelet. Does the bracelet seem religious in any way?
No.
Cool.
You notice it seems very well made. There's these like thick-looking black beads on it, and there's 3 of them that are run on this like fine, sort of like wrapped cord. Very nice.
Alright, well, I'll take it off and I'll set it on Lucrezia's unconscious body.
Boop.
And move over to the chest.
Okay. You gonna pop it open?
Got rogues with you.
I don't know, but I'm gonna try it.
You flip it open, and inside you find unmentionables that you're gonna mention. And as you like kind of rifle through it, you find kind of like stacked in these little bags along one side. You see 105 electrum pieces, 70 gold pieces, and 230 copper pieces inside. There also seems to be. I'm sorry, I forgot that on the armor there is a shield on the back.
Ooh. I will definitely snip that out.
You gonna grab the shield?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll leave my kite shield.
It appears to be a punch buckler.
Ooh.
So it's got a domed sort of pointed front, and then it comes into like this well-made wood circle, and then a metal bind on the outside, and then it fits in your hand.
Oh. Nice.
You hold it, and it basically comes out, and then it has like a bigger flat face. Meant for punching people.
It's not a shield. It's a
No, yeah, it's a shield. You use it like
It's a good description. A shield, not a
yeah, a shield. When you're playing your games at
For
home,
those of us listening to audio only.
get a shield. But it is a very nice punch buckler.
Sweet. I will take that then.
It is a shield +1.
Yay.
There's 2 shields.
Which
Yeah.
means
Your AC goes up by 1.
cool. It's back where it used to be.
So it just means that the shield gives you +3 to your AC instead of 2.
Because I'm not a half elf anymore.
When wielded, it glows.
That's less neat.
Aw. I don't think it's like a obnoxious glow. Maybe
You
it's
know,
like a ghost.
A little
No,
bit.
It's bright app.
That's
Like a flashlight.
actually what the AC is from, like that.
Just the blinding.
They're
Because
just
like,
like, "Ah, it's so
I can't
bright."
see where you are.
Gosh.
Alright, now I will head back out.
Okay.
And head back up to the top door where the door above.
So you're going up the stairs to the
I'm
where
going
the
upstairs, heading towards you guys. You and well, Raw's still up there, right?
yeah, he's kind of hanging out.
All right, I'll tell him that Lucrezia's down in the captain's quarters. It seems safe. I'll ask him not to steal anything,
He'll go check.
and move over to Zongak.
Okay.
You doing all right, man?
Yeah, try not to fall in the water.
Yeah, it's bad. If you want to go downstairs, I think we should take a rest in the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna make my way back over to the captain's quarters.
Okay.
When you get knocked unconscious, do you see anything?
DM, do I see anything when I get knocked unconscious? No.
Stars at first.
don't.
And then
Little birds
nothing.
in a circle.
Okay.
It's just kind of like going to sleep.
Figured I'd ask.
If you're unconscious but stabilized, does that count as a short rest?
No.
No.
It does in 4 hours.
That's what I mean. It's like if I just lay here for 4 hours.
I
So-
go into the captain's room
Mm-hmm.
Stay there, I'm gonna,
and lay down.
So I think we all need a rest, but I'm concerned. This ship vanishes every morning.
Well, I'm under the impression that it sails away every morning.
Yes, or whatever, but it leaves. Do we want to be on it when it leaves?
Yes.
What if it doesn't stay on this plane of existence?
I will quit.
Good question.
Please don't make us do that.
But
again.
we were here to investigate where it comes from and all that other jazz, right?
Yes, but it may be informative to take the map and leave the ship to the other ship until tomorrow when it comes back, because it's been here. Unless the captain is moving it, in which case it won't leave. But I don't know. It just feels unwise to me to ride this train to the last station.
I think we should stay here, see where it goes, and come ride it back tomorrow night.
Okay, well, I need to sleep, which is not something I've said before.
Take a sleep. I'll take first watch.
So if we're just going to stay on it till it leaves, should we take a long rest instead of a short rest and just get ourselves
Have a sleepover.
freshened up?
Yep. For what horrors will most inevitably come.
And we can always set it on fire. I remember that.
And, I mean, worst case scenario, we can always just dive over the side with the barrels, unless they disappear too, in which
Unless
case...
we're not on this plane of existence anymore.
Are we gonna barricade ourselves in?
I did the barrels. I barricaded the other doors, so we should be good.
Oh my god.
Unless he comes back somehow.
The emerald.
Yeah.
That was a weird reaction.
What is a DM, unconscious Lucrezia?
That's why she's mumbling to herself in her sleep in the underwear.
Not the DM roll. Just tossing it into her name. No,
What the
no
fuck
more.
is a DM?
Unmerciful God.
Okay, what
Do
are you guys doing?
anything about Lucrezia's past? Is she into some weird shit?
Out.
Yeah, she is.
Nope, you don't know
Leia
anything.
passes out.
You
where
see
he
what
is
she does
sitting.
Oh, Dungeon Master, stop rolling.
Dungeon Master Sama. Okay,
Yeah, what could say?
what's the plan?
Fish shoes again.
We're gonna
Stay
take
this
a
long
long
out.
rest,
Okay, so you guys are you guys
Aw.
barricade yourselves inside the captain's quarters
as best we can,
the best you can. You
without disturbing the map stuff.
without messing with the mad stuff.
There, at least we
Lucrezia's
can
on the
outside.
bed.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You guys are just gonna try to rest?
I'm going to stay up for the first watch.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Excuse me.
15.
15. As you kind of sit there, looking out the back window, as people try to wind down and go to sleep, there's this sort of like groaning sound, like the whole ship kind of like moving against the water. There's just like, and then further out you can hear these. To which you're kind of like, and then you hear this like, and then barrels beginning to spill outwards, and then you hear things begin to walk on the top deck. And then you hear like weird chittering sounds.
Like chittering or teeth clacking.
Like bones clacking together.
Fuck. Alright. I'm gonna stealth, if I may.
Okay? Go ahead and try to hide.
Well, I just want to be quiet and then start
Okay.
making my way over to the door to interpose myself between it and these guys. And that's a 21.
21. That's pretty good. Alright, so you begin kind of like moving very lowly across the ground. As you move closer and closer to the door, you can hear more moving around, and you hear these like strange sounds like things moving closer towards the door.
Alright. I'll just put myself between the door and my comrades and try to let them sleep as long as they can.
Okay. After a few seconds, you hear this on the door. Knocking.
How loud is it?
It's average.
Wake me up?
Hmm?
Will it wake me up?
I'm
Could you simulate it on your
Sure.
DM screen?
no, because when I knock, the dog barks. We don't have any ghost hounds on this ship, so we're good.
Go Shebas.
Ghost sheeps.
Ow.
Somehow.
I would like to, if it's knocking, I would like to sit up
Mink.
and try and take a moment of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna
Eye
think about
focuses.
the captain's voice,
Uh huh.
and I'm gonna try to imitate it.
'Kay.
And then thieves can't just yell in what the closest I can make to the captain's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who disturbs me will hang.
Go ahead and make a performance check, please.
And as he's waking up, I'll turn.
Okay. Christmas shit. So it's a 14.
14.
It's +0 for me.
It's kind of close. And there's a pause. And then you hear like a up against the door, like a full body press up against the door. This sort of like hollow clacking sound.
I'm gonna take an attempt as well.
Okay.
And in the best captain's voice I can, without thieves' cant, because I don't know that shit,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to yell, "Did you not hear what I just said?" I don't know what he just said.
Heard Data wake up and yell something in a weird language.
Make a performance check at disadvantage.
Oh. Hey! That was really good. Nice. 21.
21. That is very good.
2 minutes, not enough.
As you do that, there's a brief pause, and then you hear things begin moving closer towards the door, a couple of them, and then the front of the door begins to be grabbed and pulled on.
Well, that didn't work. Rouse our companions. I'm going to stab through the door.
Did we get a short rest out of that or no?
It's only been a couple minutes.
Okay, I figured.
Alright, I will move to the door,
Mm-hmm.
and through it, thrust
Which
my...
way does the door open?
The door opens outwards.
Oh, balls.
And I'll thrust my sword
Well, I
through
mean,
the
you can,
door.
like, run through it like a cannonball.
What?
Greetings from Williamsport.
Oh.
Greetings!
PA's Pennsylvania, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That.
Says Judy Poopstain.
Judy Poopstain. I don't know.
Judy Poopstain.
I don't know.
Consider
But
it
now you don't know.
well and
Where I'm
truly
from,
distracted.
so
Well, neato.
yeah,
Meh.
it's okay. And you're kind of from
What?
kind of not.
Can you describe the door?
Yep.
The door is it's double doors,
Yeah, I know. Maybe
metal
you can
binded,
cut
but
the-
old looking, warped wood. They push outwards. It has a metal latch on the inside that closes down, kind of like a crossbar, but it's like small, smaller scale.
The best angle that I can gauge, I want to step through the wood into where I believe the head of whoever's grabbing the door and pulling it would be.
Okay, make an attack roll disadvantage.
While he's doing that, can I? Is it latched already?
Yeah.
Okay, because we moved that.
Oh man,
What
that
are the handles
sucks.
like?
The handles are the nicer, sort of like curved,
Oh, sweet.
like an ear.
Then I'm going to go through and I would like to rifle through the captain's ship.
12.
Mhm.
And I'm looking for something like a stick, dowel, curtain rod.
And he has like swords and stuff in here.
Ah!
That's the closest thing.
I grab a shitty sword.
Okay. Like
Over there and make like I'm going to intimidate or I'm going to copy him. And then we go through the handles.
Schwink.
Okay.
Okay. 13 just barely misses as you stab through the door.
No, it was a 12.
12. Yeah, barely misses. Swings through the door, just stabs right through all the way to the hilt, and there's a pause, and then you hear this like, and it moves out of the way and just keeps like. Now they begin actually like attacking the door.
Fuck.
I'm just to slip through that
Schwink.
the sword and then pat the sword.
Okay, stay there. Stay there, sword. Okay.
Actually,
Play.
tell me about this sword I picked up. What's it
So
look like?
like a scimitar, like a cutlass, but it's
Is it?
nothing.
Well, cutlass is not like scimitar. It's slender and.
I know. It's that I'm using that as an example for the curve.
Okay.
A wooden handle, brass fittings, standard steel sword.
Does it look like it's good quality? Does it look like shit?
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm just gonna. Yeah, if it's good quality. ain't
No,
gonna-
most of the stuff that's in here at least would be nice. You find all the shitty stuff everywhere else. Garbage.
I'm gonna rifle through my shit and find some rope as well.
Do you have an explorer's pack?
Yeah.
Comes with
I
50
actually
feet.
don't know if I have an explorer's pack.
I think so.
I will make another attempt to stab them on my
Okay.
next turn.
I
Make.
don't have an explorer's
Go ahead and make
Unless
another attack roll at disadvantage.
Do you want us to make like an initiative or anything?
Nope.
Copy that.
Not until they bust through.
They don't really get a chance to do anything to
Sure
us.
there's rope in your
Add another 12.
No, 12. Yeah, you pull back and you're like kind of gauging it. You hear the batting of the
Awesome.
door, and then you
That's 11. I'm totally fine.
you hi-ya! You stab through again, and there's just like a brief wait for it. And
Come
then,
on!
dun, dun, dun. You just hear more batting at the door.
Aw, it's not having a good day.
Hmm.
Oh god, that's so much fun.
Okay. You just hear them like they're just batting, like just running themselves against it, and then you hear some like some kind of like shuffling moving up, and then you hear like an actual heavy like thud,
Oh my god.
thud, like something hitting the door. Let's see if it actually does any damage though. Now that I'm curious.
Well, I'm asleep, so.
That's less good.
I'm gonna try again
Mm-hmm.
with the captain's voice.
Okay.
And pretending that those attacks are half-hearted from the captain.
All right.
And I am going to say, if you keep up that racket, I'm throwing you overboard in Thieves' Cant again.
Okay. Make a performance check. Gonna give you disadvantage though because of the.
That's okay.
3 in a row.
6. But it can get worse. I rolled a 4.
You call out, and this time there's not even a pause. They
Yeah.
just kind of like throw themselves at the door. Whatever's on the other side is just smashing itself into it. All right.
This is more than loud enough to wake me up, right?
By now, probably. I mean, they're making quite a racket.
We ain't getting a rest out of this.
It just sounds like bodies are just slapping up against the door.
Are there any windows?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's one big window that goes into freedom. It's like a typical ship. It's huge and it just goes off.
like a gallery window, or just
Yeah.
Now, question: the back of the ship, is it kind of flat or is it sort of like at an angle?
No, it's flat. It goes like this and then it goes down into
Got
into
it.
like the keel. I think
yes.
is what it is.
Well, the keel's the bottom.
Right.
I'm going to toss Theta my grappling hook.
Oh my God!
You're
Thought that
tossing
was
out
gonna
the
go a different
window.
way. I throw him right out the window.
I'm taking depth and I just bash the window out and climb up the side of the wall.
Follow that,
Okay, so you're going up to the top side.
and then I'm going to
Okay.
stab through the door again in an attempt to hurt these things.
Okay, make one more
Kind of
attack.
bed,
I
is
feel
it?
like if it doesn't work
Bed?
this time,
Yes.
maybe.
It's like a nice little feather bed. It's
No,
been
that
like
Natural
was
20.
Ah!
no, well, technically,
Ah!
but it's small.
Sorry, that's
That's nice.
2 natural 20s.
Yeah.
2 natural 20s.
That's so nice.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
So glad I never get to see those again.
Man, you always use them for like.
Important shit. That is 10 damage.
Roll
10
again.
damage. Yeah, you
Oh,
can roll 2.
20.
Yeah, you roll a natural 20. So that's
10
So
damage.
we-
So that's 20 damage.
so you bring it back, and then you're like sling it through the door. There's a brief pause where you hear something like slack, and you feel weight against the front of the blade. So you turn it and then bring it out, and you just hear something like into like bones into the ground. So that one's that one.
Woo!
I'm gonna go over to the window,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to take the grappling hook and just like press it into the wood where the window starts at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and then like push it in.
Okay. Like make sure it sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you easy enough. You dig that guy in. Mr. Zongic, I'm gonna need you to make a athletics check, please. What the hell? Okay.
As a 12.
12. It takes you longer than you would like in the grime in the outside, but you use your finger holds for a couple of the barnacles to like, really dig into the side of this thing, and you begin to kind of make your way up. But with your current fatigue, it takes a little bit longer. You had more energy when you went out the window, but now
Adrenaline.
actually making it up is becoming a little bit of a slog. It's going to take you probably another round before you get up there. Okay. Your grappling hook is set. The door is still being
And
battered.
I'm gonna look out through the window
Mm-hmm.
and then shake my head and then take the grappling hook and pull it out of the wood.
Okay.
I go, well, it goes down that way. And I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna lean out the window a bit and I'm gonna try to get it up over the top.
Okay. Go ahead and make. We'll say just make a ranged attack roll.
Roll's in the room too, right?
Yeah.
Or did he not make it into
No,
the
I did that. It was bad.
What was it?
4 plus whatever.
And then it kind of goes down and you just reel it back in.
Yeah.
I'll give you another one here in a second.
Well, try again.
What are you doing?
Is it up yet?
No.
Ah! Two-handed this time.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll, please.
Fucking 2. Can I get a 1? No, I can get 2 2s though.
What's happening?
They have double dice.
6.
That natural 20.
Dice of duplication.
You swing through, but you notice that as you bring Marvellius through the door, and you notice that these like misses are going through, the door is starting to splinter faster as they're beating on it, because you're basically creating
They're helping
weak
them.
points throughout the front of it.
Perforating.
So they continue to wail against the side of it.
It's not working. Alright. I'm gonna start making my way over towards Theta.
Okay.
How big is the room? Question.
You're looking at maybe about 20 feet by 10, 15, 20, 20 feet by 20, because
Fantastic.
you gotta accommodate for the.
I'll make my way over
walls.
to Theta then,
Mhm.
and I'd like to ready an. Nah, I don't need to ready an action yet.
Okay. You don't. Okay. Cool. All right. What's going on? What's happening? I need you to make another athletics check, please.
That's a 9.
Wow.
Solid 9. You don't make any further movement. You're basically trying to hold on. The wind blows against you. That cold chill runs up your back
Oh,
for a minute, and
no.
you seize up on the side, and you're just like, and then you realize there's this like haunting realization that cold water waits below,
Oh no.
and you're just locked.
I would love to see that drawing.
Alright.
Fucking scared cat.
While he makes another attempt, I'm going to enlist Raw's aid to get Lucrezia up on my back.
Okay.
I'm going to tie her there with some rope.
All right. Go ahead and make.
Bernie's.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Easy enough. I'm not gonna make you roll. You got 2 people working on it. You tie your hands around your neck.
I'm gonna check and see if anybody's looking at me.
Check to see if anybody's looking at you.
Any of these fucks.
No, I think
Yeah.
everything's kind of like going on, and there's beating on the door. Everyone's kind of
No,
watching the
try
door
again.
buckle. Okay, go ahead and make your ranged attack roll, sir.
Journey.
I think sleight of hand bonuses for this shit.
No.
It's all
This is
strength.
what thieves do.
Oh, actually, maybe.
Remember,
What would that be with-
Pierre had the same
With
problem
sleight of
trying
hand,
to climb
that
up
would've
the
been a
fucking
13.
side of a boat.
13. Still wouldn't have reached.
That's fine. And the
Why'd
other
you do
one
it?
would have been garbage as well.
Watch it go down. You
I-
take a quick
I'd like
stock,
to-
and then you're like.
Yeah, quickly roll it back in.
All right. So they're gonna continue their battering of the door.
Data, we really need an out, man.
I have to get the wind right.
Fair enough.
So you get Lucrezia tied to your back, legs around the old hips, arms around the other. She's backpack. What's the plan?
I gotta wait for him.
All right, go ahead and make another.
Wait. I'm going to go and start scooping up some maps.
Okay, start rolling up the
And
map.
then shoving them at Raw. Put these
Okay.
in your bag!
Okay, he's just rolling them up and stuffing them in his bag.
Don't forget he has
Panic, map stealing. Like,
Anyway.
all right, both of you go ahead and make your rolls, please. Sleight of hand and then make your athletics check.
Don't look at me. I can't do it when you look at me.
No.
Stop looking at me.
Was that a one?
10.
No, it was
10.
Was slightly worse
You're
than the
just
second
like-
one, better than the first
You get like 5 feet up, and then you're just like,
11.
all right,
11.
11. And there's just like silence. All right. Let me go ahead and give them the opportunity to. Okay, so as this whole like thing's going on, you're handing Raw maps, Raw's stuffing them in his bag as fast as he can. You hear like nothing going from the side of the boat. You just hear this occasional. There's the first kind of breakthrough. This axe comes right through the front of the door, kind of splinters part of the wood away, and now from beyond you can see that there's a group of skeletons that are currently trying to make their way through the door. With a
14
fervor.
have made it?
Hmm?
Would 14 have made it?
Negative.
Okay, thank you.
Close though.
No, I didn't update these.
Oh no. Does all of it need updated?
Pretty much.
Yes.
All right, you. What's up? Go ahead. Trying to climb up.
Oh, 'cause I
Natural
updated-
20.
Natural 20. As the wind hits and you hear like the panic, and occasionally you just see this little
Update that one.
this little grappling hook occasionally fall. You snap out of it and you begin scurrying up the side of the boat as fast as possible before cresting the top and finding yourself falling amongst the barrels, kind of spilling out. And then you freeze. One little barrel like rolls away from you. Ninja. But you find yourself standing on the top deck.
I want to get on all fours and go to the edge and just peek over to see how many we have.
All right. So as you begin crawling up, go ahead and make a stealth check, please.
He's not a mouth breather.
I don't know, but he's very stressed.
Yes.
That is a 14.
14. No. Maybe I should have picked different ones.
Ugh.
So, as you scurry up, you notice that there's about 5 skeletons currently batting at the door. Well, they're kind of like making the best they can. They can't get all of them in the same space, but they're running up against you. Notice one's kind of clattered to the ground with a hole like clean through the top of its cranium. But the rest of them are beating at the door. They got axes and scimitars. One has like a shield, and they're just like flailing at this thing, slowly kind of splintering it. And then on the far other end, you see this brief silhouette of what appears to be like another skeleton, and it's dragging something very heavy behind it, just like walking towards. You see its like tiny little silhouette through your dark vision. just dragging something with it.
I would like to go over, pick a barrel up.
Okay.
Donkey Kong says hello.
Goes.
Try to like throw it over top of him.
Yeah, the ones that are below me.
All right. What, you trying to hit them or are you trying to like cartoon fucking trap them in a barrel? That's the question of the day. Trying to prevent him from being able to attack or are you trying to just like injure them?
Prevent them from attacking.
All right. So go ahead and make an improvised weapon attack, sir.
Okay.
I will give you advantage because they do not know you're there. Well,
Thank you.
one of them does. He's quite aware. It's a very aware skeleton.
Is he one of those skeletons that knows he's a skeleton but still trying to live with it?
Right, yeah. I say, this is nonsense.
Well, this is my life now.
So that's just with strength.
Yes.
Okay. So that is a 22.
22 hits. As you you bring the barrel up, there's this brief moment where you flip it around so the opening is at the bottom, and then you just, yeah. And it just perfectly just, you hear this thunk, and just the whole upper body of the skeleton kind of bonks him on the top of the head. He kind of like falls a little bit for a moment. You just have a barrel, and then it starts rustling, and then he just starts rolling away. But yeah, you managed to like stop one of them temporarily. The rest of them kind of like stop and look.
I'm gonna duck.
One's looking at you the whole time, while the rest of them are like, "What is happening?" Then they all kind of like turn and look up at you, or up towards you. Hashtag bump mechanics. They begin to maneuver around the outside, heading towards you. You guys inside begin to hear like a lessening of the door after another solid strike smashes into the door and kind of like splinters part of the wood. You notice that they all kind of like look up for a minute. And they begin moving around the outside, heading up the stairs.
Should have took the grappling hooks. That way I could hook it into the side and jump off, and then come through the window.
It's all fun and games to you.
Beta, I don't think we need to worry about the grappling hook anymore.
What happened?
I think Zongak pulled him away from the door. Let's go.
I'm gonna throw the grappling hook again.
Go ahead, make your sleight of hand check, please. What is it?
26.
26. As he's like, they're getting away from the door. You're like, oh. Just hooks perfectly. There's a couple pulls, and then you just like.
I don't perform well under pressure.
Sorry, I panicked.
Whatever. Let's get out of here.
Okay, I'm gonna climb out the grappling hook window.
I'm going out the door.
Says you look like the type of girl who wears your hair like a sailor cap.
Yeah, you whore.
I'm too lazy to do that.
No
To be
way.
honest.
No way.
I wish
All right,
I wish I
so
could.
they begin moving up towards you. Zongakarino, 5, 10, 15. They're gonna be able to get within 5 feet of you in their first move. Well, 2 of them at least. So as you watch the 5 of them begin to maneuver up around the side there, 2 of them are gonna take swings.
Okay.
Cocked. That's a 16.
That hits.
And that is a solid 6. Hoobadoop. That is 5 points of piercing damage as one of them brings down this cutlass on top of you. And as he digs into you, you take 5 damage. So you are... What are you at now? 2. So it digs into you. You instinctively... Because you're just trying to like hide there for a minute. And you're like, they never see me. And then stab. And you're like, ah! And then the other one goes to swing at you wide with an axe. And you just roll out of the way. This brief kind of quick juxtaposition. All right, next up.
Tear the door open. Get out of it. Yell at Raw. Summon the ship.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start making my way around the banister down to the main deck.
Okay, you want to go to the front here? Or are you trying to go up horizontally?
I want to go where we got on the ship.
Okay, so you start running that way?
Yeah.
Okay. So you break into a run. So does Raw. All right, now we got to get some fucking some minis out because this is where it happens.
Oh, I will say I did cut my hair to like Sailor Mercury when I was a kid though.
Did you do it yourself or did?
No, I had it professional.
Nice.
Was that like
a
18
Sailor
bucks?
Scout? That's yeah. You a basic ass bitch.
That's not
I think
nice.
it was like 11 or
You're a
12.
basic ass child bitch.
Child bitch.
Child.
You a
bitch.
basic ass baby bitch.
Baby bitch.
Alright.
I prefer the term bitch ass busta.
Your speed is going to be reduced due to
Yep.
the fact you have a backpack of a humanoid.
Yep.
Okay, Zon,
And
get
an actual
up here.
backpack too?
Under there.
In between.
There's a lot
It's
of
my
stuff.
cushion.
There's a lot of stuff that's not. It's not a cushion.
Well, technically you have 2 backpacks on because you have mine and yours and me. So you have 3.
Good thing I kept that one skill on.
Use this one.
Which? And her sister Leah says hi. Well, hello back, Leah.
Oh, hey there. Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Get a username so you can also be a viewer. Bump them numbers up. Rookie numbers.
All right, so you make a mad dash out. You're up in the top deck. I need everyone to roll initiative for what's happening.
Even me.
No.
I
No,
think
not
so
you.
when I
I
was
mean, you
there.
can roll initiative. You're still dead.
No, I don't. I'm not dead. Unless
You might as well.
You're unconscious.
One hit and you're donezo.
Well, I might be.
Oh,
Oh.
For the sake of argument here, because Rock and Double Dash, we will say that he.
does he double dash off the ship?
He begins running. He's going to use. Well, it's actually 60. He's going to use his action to light the torch to signal for the other ship. All right. 25 to 20.
yeah, not this group.
Not today.
It is not
Not last time either.
All right.
Come on now.
So no 25 20. 15 20.
We had 20
17.
People 21 at one point.
17 he says.
15.
15 he says.
7.
No,
7.
you're 0. You can snore at them.
You really crunchy, eh?
I
Fell
guess
asleep.
I'll roll for Rashid.
Better throw her in the water.
So,
I mean, Rashid can swim.
yeah, but his constitution's real low, man. I don't know if he's a good swimmer.
He just needs to hang on to the side of the
Okay.
Right now, you're the worst swimmer.
Well, she's pretty good. It's buoyancy and what have you.
Arguably, I'm the worst swimmer, but I don't need to swim. But it's
All right.
a long way down.
So, top of the round is Ma. What are you doing?
Alright. Are any of the barrels that we pre-readied for an escape,
They're scattered all about here.
are they? Is anyone close?
They were piled up at that door and down here at this door.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, they're pretty close.
Alright. I'm gonna go to Raw.
Okay.
I'm gonna dash to Raw.
Okay. So you
30
can
feet.
use your action.
Yep.
To dash 60 feet.
Yep.
Or 30 feet actually.
Well, 30, yeah.
Oh, because your speed's half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get up there.
And I'm gonna start. Can I bonus action get her off of me?
Yeah, sure.
And we used a rope ladder to get up here, right?
Yes.
They used hooks.
Oh no,
Right.
that's right. They had a
It's
hook,
a hook ladder,
Fuck.
and it's not there. They took it with them.
Fuck. Alright.
Hooray!
Yeah.
You remember that? Yes.
Yeah.
Vividly.
So,
Okay.
clearly.
What's happening?
Alright. Bonus action get her off me.
Okay.
And I'll maintain positive control of the rope because I'm gonna use it next turn.
Okay. You see that the other, the one that's kind of walking very slowly, stalking, it seems to be dragging what appears to be a giant, like, cauldron.
I actually don't have dark vision, so I don't know that I can see that.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yeah, he'd be silhouetted. In
Yeah,
the
eyeballs
moonlight.
just stopped working.
Plus his glowy shield.
Yeah, you got a glowy shield. It doesn't give you any light, but it's glowing. But you notice it's dragging a large, like, cauldron. It seems to be in, like, white chef attire, and it's dragging a cauldron behind it.
How cliche of him.
It's more
You
just an
gotta
angel.
keep up
the heat.
appearances.
I'm bringing you guys
Well, we haven't had guests in so long.
dinner.
Theta, you're up.
I love it.
Theta, you're up.
It's us with the cauldron.
And so I'm gonna climb up and over. And I
Okay.
take no penalty to that.
Okay.
Um,
Yep. Climb up. Find yourself standing up here.
Yep.
That would be your full.
there's a bunch of skeletons up here, huh?
Oh yeah.
That sucks.
There are 5 of them.
Are there any barrels up here?
Yep. You're standing on one. They're like all over this area. They were all tied up, but
I
you
would-
cut some of them down.
I would like to unseat the grappling hook because I could take an action. Okay, I'd like to unseat the grappling hook, seated into the barrel, and then jump off the boat with the barrel and the grappling hook.
Wait, you're taking the barrel with you?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
I
So
mean-
you're taking the barrel with you.
That's my
Is
my
that him
goal is
floating off
to
the
pull
ship?
the barrel.
Okay. You say anything? Any epic one-liner as you go? You see Theta grab the barrel. So he takes a barrel with him off to the side.
I get up there and there's 5 skeletons, and I go, that will all kill me.
Okay, so you grab a barrel and you dip
Yeah.
yourself over. All right.
I need the barrel though. I can't swim.
It is the enemy's turn.
You have no knowledge.
I know how it works. I don't have hands.
Dogs don't.
Dogs have paws.
They're living.
Dogs have like a flat surface. All mine is like connected rods and tubes and shit. It just goes right through me. Yeah, I got 4 fingers. It doesn't. I mean, I'd probably spin them real fast, and but that would probably take a lot of.
4 to you,
exertion.
Mr. Zongan.
Yeah, right now you're.
That one hits.
Oh
That
no!
hits.
Oh my god.
That one misses. That one misses.
Point.
You're at 16 or 17 for your armor class.
16.
So 2 of them hit.
Oh my god.
The first one is that is 3 points of damage,
Okay.
He took 5 damage.
and the second one is 2 points of damage. You take
Alright, I have 2 failures.
2 failures. As they both stab into you, you just kind of like feel it kind of get listless for a minute, and then you just drop backwards. They
Stop,
stand
don't
over
say
top
things
of you.
out loud.
The next one is going to attack Raw. Yeah, it's a fucking 4. So he,
He's really here.
the other one, you can see as it gets closer, it begins stalking towards him, dragging this cauldron. With both hands, it brings it up and it just smashes. It tries to smash him, but ends up bouncing off the railing and then like falling back a bit. But it does not seem to connect. All right, Zongak, you're up, sir.
That is an 18.
18 is a success. All right, Rashid is up. He is going to use his one hand to signal the boat. He's just flailing the torch back and forth.
Can he shoot off a fireball or some shit?
No, he's a rogue.
Flaming hands?
Well, I mean, if you remember, there was a specific signal.
That's right. That's right!
And then he grabs another torch, puts them together, begins doing this.
Does the lime scene?
I asked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I
he's
think I
going
heard
to
it
use his
specifically.
action to try to attack with the thing to the guy. Not gonna hit. He swings the torch at the skeleton. It just kind of like moves out of the way. They just embroiled in their own thing. Top of the round,
Oh right.
Ma, you're up.
Alright. She's on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Rope's on her. Gonna point at Raw. Don't fucking fight it! Disengage! Get her off this boat now! You're worthless here! And then I'm
Okay.
going back up to Zongak.
That's gonna hurt his feelings.
I don't give a fuck.
You're gonna run back 30 feet.
Where will 30 feet put me?
Right here.
Right there.
Is there still a skeleton in the barrel? That's all I really want.
Yeah. Is there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah!
Oh yeah, he's got a barrel on his head.
Yeah. Trying to get itself out.
Looks like a Roomba.
It'll get you right there. So you are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. About 35 feet away.
35 feet from the nearest skeleton.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, 35 feet from the nearest skeleton.
Alright, I will dash, go 45 feet, not the full 60.
The villain at sea. The wetsuit from Scooby-Doo.
So you're 10 feet away?
And I will get ready.
Okay. You gonna do anything else? You can say anything? Famous
Scooby-Doo.
one-liners?
Hate it.
Is it 2? Just 2.
I don't like the format.
Zongak, are you okay?
There's no answer.
It is quite quiet over there.
Parlay.
All right.
We killed the guy we could parlay with.
Okay, so they all kind of like, you notice that the 2 stab, one gets ready to stab down again, and then you say something, and they all just kind of turn towards you. And then they begin like stalking towards you. That is the end of your turn. Theta, you're up.
Fuck.
What are you doing?
Did I fall into the water with the barrel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start thrashing and kicking and trying to get the barrel to move around the ship to the side where we got picked up.
Okay. Nope. Go ahead and make a, just roll the d20.
15.
Okay. Yeah, you begin kind of getting it in the right, every time you go one way, you gotta correct it, and then you manage to begin to like You're just like upper half's hanging out of the barrel. I was gonna say water vehicle handling check, but you're not proficient in that, so.
I'm not. I don't have Steve.
I don't think anybody's proficient in a
Oh.
barrel in the sea.
Right.
That's
So
Steve.
Steve.
there you go.
But yeah, that,
You begin making your way around. Your speed is significantly reduced, but
Sure.
it's a process.
Sure.
5, 10, we get you right here, 15.
Cool.
You kind of bounce off the side of the boat a little bit. All right, that is the end of that. Who's up next? It is the enemy's turn. Let's see who can get within range of
Oh man, this is gonna be bad.
one.
Stop.
No, this is gonna be bad.
He's at 1 hit point.
Well, you're in luck that only 2 of them can get within range of you.
I wish.
Only 2 of them can hit you.
I hope that means
Did
something.
you take the dodge action?
He did not.
I dodged.
You dashed.
I dashed to get up here.
That is a 6, and that is a 11. So both of them begin like stabbing at you with the punch buckler. You just sock the first weapon, and then you sock the second one. You're like, that's why it's called a punch buckler. A sudden moment of realization. That is the end. Oh no, sorry. The other one's going to attack Rashid. That's a
Did you just pick
12.
up a cauldron and hit him with it?
yeah. It's just swinging it.
Oh dear.
This massive, and it's
Oh,
huge.
Is it like
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
it's two-handed. It's meant to be lowered into like a kiln to be cooked.
It's not a
On the
skeleton,
ship.
right?
It is a skeleton.
Oh, it is
It's like just a
Oh,
bigger
chef skeleton.
chef skeleton. Yeah.
A shepherdon.
Yeah. He has really thick
Skeleton.
bones from drinking a lot of
'Kay.
milk.
Skeff Shelley.
That is the end of their turn. Zongak, you're up, sir.
Dead.
Natural 20.
That is a 14.
14. That is a success.
You
Two
wish it was an
successes,
2 and
20,
2.
huh?
failures.
All right, it is
2 and 2.
it is Rashid's turn.
Next roll decides all.
Stop.
Rashid misses as well.
Damn it, Rashid!
He tries to swing out at it. He's going to use his bonus action to disengage,
Darren, you wanna go hard
but
on it?
but he's going to
Say
disengage
these things.
away from Lucretius, and the thing turns.
It's actually a D20 plus 1 is better odds than that.
Whoop.
So it's technically 51% chance of not fucking.
All right, Ma, you're up, sir. What are you doing?
Alright,
55% chance.
fair enough. Am I on the stairs?
You are.
And am I at the top of the stairs, middle of the stairs?
You're like it's 5 foot, so you're at like the middle.
Alright, cool. Then, I'm going to use Constrict on the one in front of me.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll, sir.
18.
Hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Ooh.
2 damages.
Nice. Solid dose.
Okay. They need to make strength save.
Yes.
What's the DC?
DC is gonna be 16.
No, he doesn't make it. So you bring your hand up, your free hand up, and as you do, this blue energy wraps into a sort of tentacle that smashes around the outside, constricts it into place, and it seems to struggle against
Thematic.
Gahar.
the. Yar. All right, he is constricted. Anything else you're gonna do?
Not with a bonus action.
Theta, you're up. Still moving around the outside.
Yeah, I got nothing more
Okay.
to do. But...
I'm gonna go ahead and.
Oh, actually, no. I don't know if it's an action or bonus action or free action or whatever. I'm gonna holler out, "I'm okay in the water!" At the top of my lungs.
Sense. Yeah, you just say that.
Free action.
Continue your swimming. Okay. Go ahead and mark you off the initiative order. Because you're freedom. You have escaped.
Freedom.
Successfully escaped.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. 16 for my roll.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
paddling
Yeah,
away.
hanging on this barrel.
All right. It is now
round, I'm
the enemy's turn. They're both gonna go after you again. No, that's an 8 plus something. That is gonna hit.
Fuck.
What is your armor class?
17.
17. It rolled 17 plus 4.
Yay!
So that hits.
21.
That is 5 points of piercing damage.
I'm unconscious.
As he brings it straight through. The first one you hit out of the way, and the second one that's kind of constricted just kind of like stabs at you. He's not at disadvantage for that, is he? Being restrained.
Check them rules. Check and double check.
Oh, nope.
He's at disadvantage.
He
Attack
isn't.
rolls have disadvantage. Attackers have advantage.
That is actually 11 plus 4, so 15 to hit.
You're
I
okay
take it back.
for now.
So you're still up. The second one swings,
Oh
and as you
my
feel like
God.
it might go in, you just like sink to the side. It just cuts your clothing a little bit, and you're like, feeling kind of winded. That is the end of their turn. Zongak, you're up, sir.
That's cocked. I'm dead.
Are you serious?
Zongak is
Oh.
down.
What was it?
4.
Oh.
Quattro. All right. With that darkness,
Fuck.
You kinda
we're gonna
like-
have to fight a dead Zongak when we come back.
as your eyes kind of like peer open for a minute, they flutter for a moment. You see these skeletons all moving away from you. You kind of like head turns to one side, and you can see, or you can hear Moz like, "Are you okay?" And like fighting off the 4 of them. And as you feel the blood begin to kind of like pool out from underneath you, and you begin to feel like colder and colder, there's a brief moment where you hear a. You close your eyes, open them back up. You see a single, like raven sitting on the edge, staring at you. 2 eyes on one side, one on the other. One's kind of glowing black, and it's just like. You close your eyes again, open it again. There's another one. Close your eyes again, open it, another one, and another one, and another one, and they just keep coming. And soon you're just like, go away,
I don't feel good.
and you're out. All right. With that being said, next up it is Rashid's turn. As he's running backwards, he's just touching the back and forth. And then he's gonna just huck the one torch at the
Cauldron, dude.
at the zombie. God damn it! Come on now.
Does he throw it into the cauldron?
Just like cling, 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 cling. The zombie looks at it, or the skeleton looks at it, and then it turns back.
You said zombie.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing. They're both undead.
Zombie don't fly.
Okay. Next up is top of the round. It's Maw.
Can I see Zongak where I'm at?
You can, yes.
Is he still breathing?
Make a perception check.
That's 17.
No, not that you can tell. It seems like you see this like he was for a minute, and then it just kind of like
All right.
you don't see any birds though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my way down and around in front of the captain's quarters.
Okay. You gonna disengage?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, no. I want to keep going down. I want to try and lure them down, like, to the lower deck.
Okay, this way?
Yeah.
Alright. So you begin moving that way. Away. Got it. Theta, you begin to see that the other ship is kind of turning towards you and heading towards you. Heading towards
How's
the.
moon tonight?
It's clear. Occasionally you have like the occasional overcast, but right now it's kind of clear and you're getting like
The moon's
full.
bright.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna flip open one of my arms. I'm gonna start waving it, trying to catch some light and flash it at him.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You begin to flail around as you swim closer and closer to the edge of the boat. Next up is the enemy's turn. Still 10 feet away. This one is finally going to stand up. That's going to be his thing. The other one is going to move towards Rashid. Nope. Shit. 2 + 4 is 6. Whee! Just like smashing this cauldron just all over as Rashid's like, ah! That is the end of his turn. I am going to go ahead and have Rashid disengage. He's going to run forward.
So will.
30. He's going to grab your little heels and then take you both overboard with him.
No barrel, huh? I thought they were useful for somebody.
Oh, yeah. Somebody. They're just going to climb in with you, right? That's safe. But they both dive over the side of the ship, finding just Maw and his friends on the top deck.
Friends on the top deck? I don't think
All the skeletons down near me now?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm a dash, try to slip between them and get back up to Zongak's body.
You want to go like this way?
Yeah. As best I can. Ideally, not taking opportunity attacks, but...
Isn't there a constricted one up at the top of the stairs?
Oh yeah, you're right. There is. So I mean, you're gonna provoke opportunity attacks from at least 2 of them.
Either way.
Yeah, either way. Unless you take the disengage.
Well.
And then that 30 will put you there.
Disengage. 30 will put me there.
You begin running that way.
Yep.
Okay. You guys discuss strategy real quick. Use the restroom.
What do we discuss strategy?
And the strategy is she's dead, he's dead, I'm floating, flailing.
I'm just asleep. I might drown
I mean,
soon,
you're in the
though.
water, asleep. I don't know
With
how
somebody
well you think that works out.
with no constitution.
0 constitution, less than 0 constitution.
Trying to tread
actually.
water.
Just spluttering and
He might use you as a flotation device.
yeah. Once you're dead, you just billow right up to the top.
I'm surprised we didn't take a barrel with us.
I know. I put them there for you to use.
I mean,
But somebody was sleeping on the job and didn't take one.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on the job.
I mean,
right.
Raw was awake. And he didn't take one either. And I've got a body.
Either. What do you mean either?
Well,
I can't choose to do anything.
Yeah, you could have chose not to be unconscious
I
by
did for a
listening to
little
my
bit.
plan when we started.
What was your
Thinking
plan?
back, next time I cut barrels loose with flotation devices, I think I'm just gonna throw them over the sides of the ship.
Ah, Bean.
Just
Did you run into the pole?
yeah, he did. He ran right into it.
Ah, Bean.
Well, I mean, if you'd have tied, I don't know, like tied them together with a rope or something, and then tied them to the ship, we could just cut it and dive.
You were just taking in the
We're all learning lessons here.
Enough rope for them to float.
It's
I
sweet.
mean, I know I didn't learn
Not a
anything
new
with this.
people.
Well, no,
Maybe we should
you've
swing
learned
the
how to better
barrels
put the
around
barrels.
us.
You're not wrong. I was actually thinking about making like a bosun seat between 2 barrels, just a couple bits of rope, tie them around, make a knot, and then they go. You can sit in between 2 barrels,
Huh?
and that way you don't have to flail.
We're discussing
Gazebo.
lessons learned.
So,
It was kind of
Go
hilarious.
bowling, go
Nice.
You went bunk.
all right. So, let's see. So you run through to try to get to Zongak. That is the end of your turn. They're gonna maneuver themselves, try to attack you.
It'd be nice if they didn't.
So this one's going here. One's gonna make a strength save to see if he can. What is your?
16.
So his. At the end of his turn, he breaks
Uh-oh.
free.
Oh, end of his turn. You're okay for now.
This one's gonna try to get up to you like that, but he can't. So the one's gonna make an attack roll against you.
He's on the side of the stairs.
7,
so those
8,
you
9,
can't
10,
see.
11. 11.
Stairs.
To hit.
Is up here.
Does not.
So it misses. Okay. That is the end of their turn. What are you doing?
Fuck. I guess I have to disengage again, huh? Because it would take an action to pick Zongak up and dive over the side.
Yes.
All right.
Or you could take the hit.
I'm gonna risk it, and I'm
Okay.
just gonna head up to Zongak.
Okay. That is cocked. That is a 9. Okay, so 15 to get up as it swipes out at you.
Scoop him up
Okay, grab him.
and dive over the nearest banister.
You go over this way. Kind of tumbling
There's a me.
ass over kettle as you go over. So, everyone having successfully dived over the side in some way or shape or form, I need. Let's have Rashid first. Okay. Rashid is struggling to keep Lucrezia up
Damn right he is.
out of the water. You jump over with Zongak on your shoulders. Crashing into the water was surprising and hits pretty hard because you just kind of like tumble. But you manage to maintain control over Zongak to hold him up as you splunk in. Anything else you'd like to do?
Just get back up and make my way over to where the ladder had been. I'm assuming that's the side they're coming to.
Okay. As you jump over and you collide with the water, the cold hits you first and like the blackness of the water itself. You begin to hoist up and there's this sudden push.
Question.
Yes.
Am I cold-blooded now?
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah, it sucks.
So you hit the bottom, and as you go down, there's a weird sensation, almost like a current. As you hit underneath, there's this, as you're pushed further out, away from the boat, and then you begin to kind of swim, and you notice that the ship is slowly kind of like moving one direction. But your allied ship, the Advantage, seems to be moving towards you. So you guys are just going to try to tread water until it gets you. You're going to try to meet him. What's the plan?
Try to get
Try to regroup.
I'm gonna try to get our group back together.
Okay.
So sure, one barrel isn't gonna support all of us, but
No, well, when the ship starts moving, can I try to carve a nice sliver off the side of the boat, like off the side of the hull?
Yeah, you can try.
Let's try.
Make an athletics check.
13.
13. You get a piece of, probably not as big as you wanted,
Yeah.
but a smaller piece that kind of comes free for a minute, and you pull on it. And as you pull on part of it, you notice that the ship kind of rocks, almost like more than what you've, like as if
pulling on a toy boat.
yeah, like your hit made it move a little bit more than usual. But yeah, you notice these guys begin to kind of move towards you. Oh, lost my screen
Do I
there
get
for a
that
minute.
piece of wood?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
You got it. Okay. You begin moving towards. Make an athletics check, please. I think you have a swimming speed now, don't you?
Let me confirm.
I think I sent you a.
Yes, 30 feet.
So yeah, you're fine actually. You don't have to. You just you find it weirdly natural for you to maneuver through the water. Yeah, little webs as you begin to kind of squeeze through. But you artfully begin to make your way towards them, kind of like slithering almost naturally with some grace. But
These white trousers.
you all manage to regroup at one end. The skeletons do not follow you over the ship.
Oh, goody.
What's the plan?
Alright, I'm going to hook Zongak on the barrel.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna help with that.
And then once Rashid gets on the barrel, we'll try to hook her onto it too.
Okay.
And then I will attempt to swim pool it. Like that time we got trapped in the lake.
That time we got
And
trapped
I
in the
know
lake.
exactly how difficult that is.
Yeah, me too. That's fun times.
I'm gonna help from inside my barrel.
Okay. So you begin moving.
Towards the rest of the ship, correct?
So as you, for the sake of brevity here, as the ship Advantage begins to approach, it gets closer and closer, and you guys kind of like call out to it, get its attention or whatever, and they kind of seeing you, they begin to turn to one side, and you notice that like a bunch of the hands begin like clacking down these like rope ladders, and who has the highest passive perception?
Me.
Okay, what is it?
16.
Okay, you notice that as they begin to wheel up, trying to turn the ship to like collect you guys, you notice the ship that was once dipping this way begins to come back around and make its way closer to the Advantage. The ghost ship begins to maneuver closer to the Advantage.
But if the Advantage is a ghost ship too. Dun dun dun.
So,
Oh,
you guys begin to, as you get closer, they lower down the ladder. You're the first one to it. Kind of tired, you begin to hook your hands into the...
When I get to it, I help everybody up first.
Okay, so you begin helping everyone up. We'll say that Rashid goes up first. Whoever's trying to take Zongak or...
I'll take Zongak.
Okay, you grab...
I'm also going to, as I'm going up, I'm going to say, "She's coming about!" To the
as you
people
begin...
on the boat.
Yeah, you have Zongak over your shoulders and you're climbing up. You get to the top, spill out onto the deck of the Advantage. You notice a couple of the guys move out of the way.
Gesture at the other ship.
They like look up. They're like, "It's coming around!" Everyone begins kind of like scattering amongst the deck. You notice that the quartermaster, Nisa, I believe it is. Let me double check my thing here.
Nope.
Nidosa. You notice that the quartermaster, she kind of turns to the other gentleman, who you recognize as the captain, and she like points. At which point he begins like calling out commands to the deck, batten down, prepare for battle. So you guys begin to climb up the side of the ship. You're up last, dragging Lucrezia as best you can. Make an athletics check, please.
Complaining all the way. Are you so fucking... Oh.
Not good.
I don't think we're getting up. 7.
7. No, there's some definite struggling, but I'll say Rashid comes down and begins kind of helping you to assist along the way. So you can make one more at advantage, please.
14.
14. You slowly make your way up. It's an arduous process, but ultimately you find yourself on top of the ship Advantage. As the deck comes to life and people begin scurrying, people begin running below deck, you can hear people shouting beneath you for powder and cannonballs. You notice on top deck they have a couple of, on each side, they have 2 on each side, these large ballistae, or ballista. On either side, people begin manning those and like loading up these large crossbow bolts and then pulling the things back with these ratchets.
Distance to ship?
It's kind of still coming around, but you're looking at maybe like 30, 40 feet. Like it's coming in, and it's coming in hot.
Can I look real quick and see if there's anyone at the helm?
Of the ghost ship?
Yes.
Go ahead and make a perception check, sir.
That's a 16.
16. You look, and where the actual wheel is, no one's on it.
Okay. Is that my action?
I mean, not really in combat, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing, you're doing.
I'd like to scan the deck and see if any of those skelly mans are still there.
They are actually. They're still meandering about, seemingly like looking over the edge where.
See that chef?
Yep, he's like dragging it back to the front of the ship where the front mast is.
I would like to zone in on him.
Uh-huh.
And I don't have any stats for it, but I want to pull that pistol out.
Okay.
And I want to attempt to shoot him right in the dome.
It is not loaded.
I'd still like to attempt to shoot
So
him
you
right in the dome.
click the
I've seen these work before.
and you pull it out, and it just makes a clicking sound. You look inside of it. It's empty.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Don't do that in real life. But it is empty. It needs powder and
Put
flint.
it back in my.
Okay.
dome.
Ah, did it? Click.
Look around to see if anybody saw me
I'm
do
sure it's
that.
badass looking.
It did look really cool. It zooms in
Yeah.
too.
The eye narrows.
Pirates of the Caribbean style.
Like, and there's-
Zooms in.
I've carried this one shot from the ghost boat, and I'm putting it away now.
I'll
This is not
see you
working.
in hell. Tell them who sent you.
All right.
I mean, I was just playing.
So what's the plan? What are you guys doing?
Rotting.
Not yet.
I'm gonna holler out, no one at the helm, no one at the helm,
I'm going to attempt to
and
resuscitate.
point towards the ghost ship's helm.
I'm gonna resuscitate.
Attempt. You can't resuscitate a corpse.
Stop.
But I'm
You
also
can.
not a doctor.
Just need a lightning strike.
I can't. It's too late.
Okay.
Mechanics question.
Yes.
Could I have the handbook?
If you were proficient in medicine
Mm-hmm.
and you had the cantrip shocking grass,
Mm-hmm.
could you?
Could you defibrillate? Sure. Why not? I'll
I
have
was
it.
just curious.
I mean, I'd be down.
I mean, I don't have any of those things, and I'm not. But I'm just like,
So, as the ship gets closer and closer, what's everybody doing? I need to run down. So he's out. You're out. What are you doing?
Attempting to resuscitate him.
Okay. So go ahead and make a medicine check. What are you doing? Calling out.
I'm calling out no one at the helm, and I'm gonna run to the quartermaster, bosun, whoever looks like they're in charge on deck, who's ever calling out orders.
You notice that Nidosa actually walks back inside as the captain begins shouting out commands.
Then I'm going to captain.
You begin running towards him to let him know, and there's this sickening stress sound as like it sounds like wood splintering and tearing, as what you would expect to be ship-to-ship contact is not at all what's happening. And as you hear it, you hear surprise shrieks on the top deck. People, like grown men, cry out, terrified, as the front of the ship opens into a giant toothy maw, and it just folds back these like wooden chitin type armor on the outside, and like gnarly long teeth just dig into the side of the boat as it just bites into the side of the Advantage. Everyone just like shrieks, pull back. One guy gets bitten clean in half, and it just takes him with it. As it rips part of the ship, you notice these from underneath, these purplish sort of tentacles begin sticking to the side of the boat, and on either side. And that's where we're gonna take a break.
I've seen that.
And that is where we're going to take a break. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to use the restroom, grab some water and stuff like that. I hope you guys are enjoying. I hope you guys hang out with us a bit more so you can see what happens on the next part of the this adventure.
Good God, Molly.
So I hope you guys are having fun. We will be right back. So don't go away. We're just a couple minutes. Dip off here.
No wonder it shuddered when I cut it.
goodness. So.
Can't see his face.
You don't know what he looks like.
Thank
You
you.
have no idea. Okay,
He doesn't
so.
want you guys to see him without his makeup.
Right.
It's true. I'll never be able to be a bride if people see my face before I'm married.
How is your groom gonna see?
Jesus.
He lifts the fucking veil.
He has to fall in love with me for me.
Not because he
Weirdest
looks
love
like
story.
Cleopatra. I don't know.
This is
No,
why he's bad at
not
that thing.
because
He's like, in
I'm
our
fat
culture-
like Cindy Crawford. I have got so much to offer.
All right.
Why does
On
he
that
waste
note,
all his time?
I'm glad that he caught that.
Are you crying?
on that
You're
note,
crying.
There must be something there that I don't see.
Yeah, because like fucking face is covered.
thanks for waiting. Thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you guys are enjoying so far.
Oh, yeah,
You got a free song. You got some death music. Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" is playing in the background as a mimic attacks the
Yes, I'm glad it's
ship
mimic.
advantage.
The biggest mimic ever.
Aha! I made
Could
a
you,
big one.
could you hand me that?
This?
It's gargantuan.
Not
It's
a
a fucking
dick-
moose.
Not
Yeah, the
a
buck.
dick measuring contest, but I did make a bigger one.
So,
Unintentionally.
with that being
Took
said,
a fucking turn.
It took the mimic turn.
as we
Okay.
open on this
He's a de facto cleric.
wonderful scene,
He's a cleric.
um,
I'll show you what the cleric weapon does.
everyone gets knocked prone.
I don't need excuses.
My medicine check was 18.
18. Okay, well he is dead,
You guys.
unfortunately.
Great points one time.
So as you kind of pour over him and you try to get
I said euthanize.
you try to see if you can't get him
I did this
back up
already.
or at least
Yeah.
breathing, everything in your power you expend, no lack of effort as you begin to try harder and harder to get him up, and nothing seems to be working. He seems to be gone.
God damn it, God damn it!
And
Is
from
it-
your experience as a member of an organized fighting team, you know that there's nothing you can do at this point.
Yep.
However, your efforts or your chance to mourn is cut short as you are rocked from him and you are separated physically. As you see as like the sort of debris clears and the dust settles off this mist-ridden creature, you realize that a large mimic is currently sinking its teeth into the side of the advantage. Sticky pods begin slapping out and smashing along the deck. As it seems to be attempting to either consume it or do something. But with one single bite, it manages to splinter a large section, and it rakes its large teeth across the front, leaving deep gashes in the remnants of people that were once underneath that area. You are knocked over, you scurry back up. Even the captain's kind of like stunned for a minute, and there's just like this death pause as all you hear is like the teeth come out, and the pod's still sticking to the side of the boat. What is everybody doing?
How far did I make it?
I would say you made it all the way up to basically to like almost to where the captain's quarters is before being knocked to the side, and then you scurried to your
Anyone
feet.
around me from the ship?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Cool. I'm gonna grab the nearest one. What is it he's doing?
Currently on his ass, panicked, staring at death and destruction.
Hands full of anything?
Huh?
Hands full of anything?
Yeah, he currently has a bundle full of like very large arrows
Okay.
that he's like holding, and
yeah.
he's just like staring wide-eyed.
I'm gonna grab him and go. Take those with you to go. Where do you keep your liquor?
He's like, all the way to the bottom.
Of course.
And then
I'm gonna reverse direction and head downstairs.
you begin trying to head downstairs.
That's my goal. However long that will
This
take
gives
me.
me flashbacks. Last time we were on a ship, and okay, they seem awake.
What?
We were on the ship, and I think that's when you put the fucking needle in the guy's arm, and I'm like, you're like, somebody was like, go wake up everyone, and you're like, okay, they seem awake, because they're just like sleepwalking on the ship.
Oh yeah. All right, what are you doing?
Scoop him up, find a room to stuff him in.
Okay.
Or down below, like wherever there's
Okay.
a place that he won't go flying off the ship.
Okay.
And
Wait, if you
then
need a dry one, I got a dry one too.
I don't know why I just imagined him kind of like wheeling him over to the door and going.
that's basically it.
Okay. You run over.
And-
Unceremoniously.
Making my way back towards the mimic. Are any of his?
Pseudopods on the
Yes.
thing. Yes.
Alright, cool. I'm gonna go up to the first one and
Okay.
cast bite on it.
Okay. Go ahead and make your attack roll, sir.
20.
20 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
2.
Just.
Okay, so as you begin running up to it, you begin channeling that sort of like chimeran magic, that blue energy that begins to kind of emanate from you, and you bring both hands up, and as you put them out, this like sort of ethereal teeth come down and clamp down and do nothing.
Oh, I didn't expect to knock him prone. That'd be
It
fucking
does.
weird.
Doesn't even look like it
Knock a shit
penetrated
prone.
the pseudopod in hide.
Pseudopodean. Pseudopodean.
Sure.
Don't fight anymore. You're 1 hit point.
I don't give a fuck. I'm mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take it.
You just want to play a new character.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
We ain't gonna take it.
Upset about this.
No, we ain't gonna take. Okay, so what's the plan, ladies and gentlemen? You run out and try to grab some liquor. You
That's my plan.
head below deck. Kind of scounging around. You find yourself on the bottom, which is the cannon deck, where most
Yes.
people are kind of like trying to collect cannonballs that have been knocked over, trying to adjust some of the bags. People are trying haphazardly to load the cannons, but they're being pulled and pushed against the tide of this thing, and you can see that pseudopods have like smashed up against some of the kind of like openings, the cannon ports. And you notice on this floor it smells like gunpowder and sweat, but nothing seems to immediately. There's no storage here, so you kind of like look around, find the next latch down, and pull it open and begin running down even further until you find yourself into the hold of the ship, where you notice that there are currently a lot of cloth that's all folded up, these large like sort of bolts. You find mostly like foodstuffs in stores, and then probably for themselves, but there is make an investigation check actually.
Sure.
Before I tell you there is, when I lie to you.
Investigation. Yeah, but okay. I couldn't tell what that number was.
Oh, really? Oh.
That is a 22.
Well, I mean,
22. You
already did a paladin.
zoom in on the barrels, and then you kind of like run over to them, and you begin to like grab at one, and you hear some like shuffling, probably like some sort of fruit or something, and then you like grab another one and begin shuffling it, and it sounds like probably something else inside, and then you turn and you see that one has a tap on it, and you're like, that one. But yeah, you find a large barrel. It's
Does it look like beer or liquor?
you pop the top. It smells like
I'll just
mead.
Tap on it.
Oh, it's like mead,
Flammable.
probably.
Okay. Can I take it? Is it huge?
This one is gonna be too big for you to pick up by yourself.
I'm gonna look for any small barrels like that ish size around. I don't care if they're full of anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find one.
Plan for that.
Pop the top out.
Empty it out.
Whatever the fuck's in it.
Some avocados falling. Things I don't
Those are
like.
so
Just saying.
expensive.
Aw,
They
hey.
just spill out on the floor here, little blah, 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 all over the place. Just happens like that.
And then I'll take it and start filling it up.
Start filling it up, hanging out.
Yeah.
Boats rocking back and forth. You
Yeah.
hear screaming and all kinds of shit, and you're just like,
Avocado.
And then my goal is to get 2 of this size barrel filled
'Kay.
with I'm making giant Molotovs. So piece of cloth from the bolt, put it in, tamp the top back down, so I can
Mhm.
carry them and run
back up.
upstairs. That's my goal.
sure.
So however long that will take me, however many turns, that's cool. That's what I'm doing.
Sure. That is what you do. What are you doing?
Alright. So the move I did didn't even seem to affect it, like, in even damage-wise.
Doesn't seem to have done anything.
Constrict the mimic.
No, I'm gonna try Petrify next.
Oh.
Go ahead.
12.
Hits.
It's a big boat.
1.
Nope. It doesn't take any damage, and it does not seem to be. Your petrify, like the actual like sort of like point that digs into the outside seems to hit, but it doesn't seem to actually like penetrate anything.
Damn it!
So it doesn't translate
Alright.
into.
Alright. I'm gonna look for the nearest. Is there any, like, ballistas on top?
Yes,
Alright.
there's 4 total, but only 2 can actually point this side.
Alright. And are they both manned?
Currently no. Everyone seems to be in a shitstorm of panic.
Alright.
People
I'm gonna
running
start
over.
looking for
One
the
guy
ammo.
dives over the side of the other side of the boat. Just
I'm gonna
getting
look
the
for
hell out of
ammo
Dodge.
then.
Look for what?
Ammo?
Okay, so you do see some guy standing next to, like, he's got like one in his hand, but there's like spilled. There's about like 4 around him that he's just kind of like
I'm gonna make my way over to him.
slap him.
Get your shit together! Get this! Get over there! And I'm gonna grab as many as I can carry and start making my way to a ballista.
Okay, so you run over to the ballista. All right, it is
I
going
have
to
the rest of the books.
Oh.
the rest of the books. Well, the DM's guide's over here.
Not the DMs. I don't need
What else
that.
do you need?
Have 'em.
I
He has
need
that.
Mordenkainen's.
Oh.
Does that have glasses in it? Oh,
No,
races.
it has races.
Damn it.
I'm gonna be super racist.
And racial feet.
I mean races.
All right, so
It has all the super races in it.
So the mimic.
Mordecrackers only. Elves and Duragar and Gnomes, oh my.
So the mimic, it brings up. You see that one of the pseudopods like comes off the side of the boat. A couple of people lash out at it and just like smack into the side of it and just get thrown from just the impact, the weapon sticking to the pseudopod and then pulling it out of their hands as it just pulls back unaffected. Doesn't even seem to notice. Its teeth rake off the side and you notice it has like eyes on the underside of it that are all kind of looking towards the boat. And then the pseudopods begin to just start beating down on top of the boat.
Did the ghost captain know he was on a mimic?
Probably yes.
Maybe that's why he was mad.
Because it's
Not a real boat.
Yeah, I can't captain this fucking thing.
It just goes wherever it wants.
So 2 of the pseudopods hit. I'm not going to roll this damage. I'm just going to use the interwebs to roll the damage. Let's go ahead and get our dice roller out, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not rolling all these numbers.
Yay! Numbers.
That's not good.
Numbers are fine.
Maybe that's the damage that
Mm.
they did to it.
Stop being unconscious.
All right, so the first pseudopod comes down and smashes into the side for 26 points of damage. Boom! Just like explodes into splinters and piece of debris as like the front of the ship actually cracks a little bit. The second one rains down, boom, for 19 points of damage as it smashes into the side. But that one, as you notice, as it strikes into it, doesn't seem to leave an impact. There's like a deafening thud and the whole ship gets rocked for a moment, but then it just slides off with this sort of like sticky peeling sound. But it doesn't seem to actually do anything. So let me go ahead and mark down the ship's HP real quick.
Yay.
Boom.
Which is probably a high number.
Yeah, it's still high.
Maybe.
It's very
It's
high.
25.
Actually.
19 damage. Cool.
Okay. That's an easy number.
Yeah.
474 left.
Oh,
Hey.
okay. That's a lot.
It's a ship.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay,
I don't
so,
know, this ship's in-
all right,
So
what are you guys
so-
doing? You guys,
Well,
you're still feeling it's gonna take you a
Being
while.
dead,
I
being
figured.
unconscious, being innovative.
Crap. I have.
Once I get to the ballista, I'm gonna attempt to point it at the mimic and unleash one.
Okay, it's an action to load it,
Yep.
and it's an action to fire it.
Copy.
So that is what you're doing. So your
Action
action
to load
first,
it.
first action is to load it.
Did that dipshit follow me?
You wanna yell that?
Let's find out. Make a persuasion check.
Fuck!
Sounds like it went well.
That is an 8.
8. He is just sitting on the ground. You notice he's like kind of like scooting back. He still has one of the bolts in his hand as he's just like moving further away from the thing.
God, I
Um,
could use some assistance.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's your action. The mimic is gonna rain down.
Hello, God, can you hear me?
The mimic
Yeah,
brings
fucking
its
tell me.
massive pseudopods
I
down
was gonna say, Mama, can you hear me? But
once again. Where's my dice roller here? Boop, boop. Okay, both hit. Both batters into the side once again. And I'm just gonna use this since no one's dealing damage in the mimic.
Sorry.
6.
What?
We're not.
Okay, so it's bringing boom, boom, both hits solid against the side. You notice that it's beginning to splinter and buckle. You underneath are getting rocked around, trying to keep the barrel from spilling out as you begin to refill it. Go ahead and you can make your attack roll, sir. It is dex based.
It's next to a 20. That's not usually.
Boy, I remember when that was high. That is going just flat dex.
Yep.
Papa, can you?
16.
16 hits. Go ahead and roll 3d10
Yay.
for damage.
4. 7.
11.
2.
13.
13. As you unleash the bolt, there's this like heavy kind of like rocking as the whole apparatus unleashes, and the thing hits the side and skits up, and then just into the water.
Now, question. Is there any particular noise when I fire and it hits?
When you hit, it's like a metal or like a wood on wood scraping sound, like a up the side, and then it spins down.
Would that be enough to shake some of these fuckers out of their stupor?
Because
for my bonus action, I'd like to start yelling at the crew, "We can kill it! Get your shit together!"
Inspiring leading.
They had time.
No.
Not for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
But
a
I
lot
would
of
like
rounds
to.
of combat.
Yeah.
Him just yelling while pseudopods rain down.
Okay. You notice like the guy that you had kind of yelled at earlier, and a couple other people begin kind of like standing up underneath. You hear somebody echo out like, "Load the cannons!" The captain is still shouting. He's been shouting the whole time, but
Yeah.
like just nobody's kind of
Oh.
awake.
Little chaos.
But he like comes down off from the actual like thing and begins like shaking people up and like throwing them to their feet, and they begin kind of like jumping onto some of the ballast.
Man, I wish I had fucking thaumaturgy. That'd be nice.
All right, so one guy, seeing the captain yell at another guy, he runs up with the whole bindle of arrows and drops it down next to the ballast, begins loading one, pulling it back,
What is Rod doing?
helping you,
He's
dragging
going
you,
Roma.
Yeah.
Keeping you
Uh,
from
uh,
not
You're dead
dying.
weight at the moment.
right?
That's his whole
Almost
thing.
literally.
Stop.
All right, so
No.
I mean,
And-
interestingly enough, he's actually dead and not dead weight.
that's mean.
He's resting. Deceased, but resting.
The ultimate.
Okay, so again, pseudopods begin raining down into the side of this thing, and you can hear each time, each impact getting louder, and it's beginning to splinter the sides of the ship, just. And you can see like pieces of wood falling off. Part of the banister begins to kind of give on one side. It looks like this ship is taking one hell of a beating. I would say by now you've gotten one filled because you have to wait. You know, you have to wait for the whole thing to fill.
I'm
You-
gonna slap it close. I'm gonna soak 2 or 3 rags
Okay.
in the liquor that I have,
Mm-hmm.
and then put one in, tamp it down, and take the other 2, and grab that and start heading my way up.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to pause on the can loading section.
In the cannon area.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing in there as you run up?
I'm gonna pick someone who looks like they're taking a moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna point my finger at them and just go 2 powder barrels. Follow me.
Let me see here. Sorry, I'm looking up improvised explosive devices.
Yeah. that is going to be relevant in a moment.
Is that stuff over there with like traps and stuff? The explosive stuff?
Mm-hmm. I have it right here.
I don't know, there's fucking sheets in
No, inside the screen.
here. Yeah.
That's what she's talking about.
Okay, so somebody grabs. They grab 2 powder barrels and they run up. 2 people carrying them, lugging them up the stairs. Okay.
Do they not have small powder barrels? Only large?
Well, these guys aren't like, superheroes. They're carrying one and
gotcha.
they're wheeling it up with you. Okay. All right. They follow you up.
Okay. I assume there's rope handy somewhere.
Everything's tied down. Your rope would be on you, and you could pull off your rope and use it.
I don't think I have rope.
Everyone has 50 feet. If you have an explorer's pack, you have 50 feet
I don't
rope.
think I have an explorer's pack. I think I took something else.
Dungeoneers?
Probably a burglar's pack.
Burglars. I think it says right here what they have in them, doesn't it?
I don't know.
Because I thought everybody's pretty much had rope in it. Unless you're like a fucking-
Everybody's except sorcerers do.
So you're like a priest or some shit.
I know priests don't, but
I don't think packs are on that sheet.
Player's Handbook has it in there.
Dude,
I assume that
Celestial can
I need like 10 feet of rope.
Yeah, I just don't know where there would be any hanging out.
Gotcha.
That you wouldn't be like, that wouldn't be like tied to something.
Hell, her pack. Fucking Ross
There's a lot
pack.
of shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, run by, you can steal one
Oh,
off
yeah, Roz.
Lucrezia's or Roz.
Depending on which stairwell you took, his pack, he's not gonna be using it. Oh.
So I'll say that as you run by, you grab it. Okay, so you grab 50 feet.
I'm gonna start a knot around this barrel as I'm going up.
Okay, so you begin kind of working on it as you go up the stairs. Sure. The guys follow you, kind of super confused. Loading up the thing again.
If I can flag one of those chumps down,
Okay.
have him load it for me, and then I'll fire.
Okay, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Natural 20!
Oh.
Natural 20. The guy that's been like kind of like moving away from you as you shot at him again, he's like, and he rounds up all these arrows and he begins running towards you.
AI.
Huh?
No.
He runs up and as you fired off yours already, he begins loading another one for you, begins cranking it down as fast as he can. He's kind of like cowering a little bit as He's shmeeing right now,
I
right?
mean, if you want, I can make that an intimidation, which makes it a 28.
Nice.
He shits himself and then gets up.
That's all right. So he loads it for you. So now you can use your action to fire. Go ahead and roll 3d10, please.
Well, I gotta hit it first, right?
Yeah.
Fuck!
Sorry. Roll to hit.
Oh. 17 to 19.
19 hits. Go ahead and roll damage, sir. 3d10.
See if I can avoid a 2. 6 plus 6,
12.
9.
Oh,
Sorry, my bad.
oh,
6,
15.
9, and 8.
23.
Okay.
There's panic in your eyes. What happened?
I wasn't expecting the number 8.
I wasn't either.
I'm still reeling from the 9.
No.
Yeah, dude, it threw me off. I was like, 6, yeah. Upside down
I'm not
6.
used to seeing those upside down.
I'm not. It's my damage dice. I'm used to
What are
2s.
these numbers? Are so high.
What was that number again?
23.
23.
It was up there.
Use the
What are you
bonus.
doing?
Oh,
I don't have
it's
it.
over here.
I've never had a
He's
bonus.
making a fucking like amalgamation.
I had
It's all got from the dead.
I had like 5 different ideas for characters.
You know what?
Okay.
Can we just give him the other 2 while you're there?
Yeah.
I mean, Tales from the Yawning Portal.
Yeah, fuck it. There's
No, I
something
just
there.
I just
Sword
need this
Coast
for-
Adventures guide.
He's like,
You
they
want-
let me come
you
back
want
at
Sword
a
Coast?
price.
You can't have that one.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get 4.
He's like a tabaxi furball goblin.
Okay.
I
Fucking
have fur-
siren.
So as you unleash the bolt this time, it fires out and it stabs into
Are
the
you
side of
sure you wanna
the
make him look
the
better?
wooden hull of this mimic, and it kind of reels to one side for a minute. And you hear this kind of like just like scream for a moment as it like thrashes, then it begins to pow, pow, and just begins to pummel back. I don't know why I'm. Oh nope, I don't know why I'm rolling. He hits every time. He has plus 14 to hit.
Oh my god.
The ship's AC is 15, so he'd have to roll a 1 to miss.
It
So,
could happen.
With that being said, that's what I'm rolling. I don't know why I was doing math though.
Not a 1, yes. Not a 1, yes.
Ding!
Okay, so boom, boom, 2 solid strikes. The actual ship begins to splinter as you realize that if it keeps up this way, the ship will be cut in half pretty soon.
Yay.
Yay!
Somebody's trying to fix
Adventure.
it.
Huh?
Somebody's trying to fix it.
Who's got 2 thumbs in this guy? You're up.
Alright, 2 more on the main deck.
You've gotten onto the main deck.
I'm
Now.
going to gesture for them to sit on the barrel. I'm going to start lashing. How many,
Oh.
what do I have?
3, 2
Two gunpowder
powder and 1 Molotov.
liquor? Yeah. So I'm gonna start lashing together and jam the 2 other rags in between
Okay.
the barrels. Lash them together, get them tied off, and go. This goes at that. We need fire.
They all like nod. They begin to like grab out like go for torches and stuff that are on the deck. Lanterns that like oil lanterns like this one.
Yeah, it works fine.
Is that fire? I don't know. What is fire?
Like our
just
Like
begins
the-
to light up.
Yeah.
Alright.
Like the one, and it's so basically I have it like doing like a Mickey Mouse head, and then the 2 rags are there, and then this is the liquor barrel, and the rag for the liquor barrel's down here, so it won't immediately light the other 2.
Okay. So with their assistance, you're gonna huck some shit.
Yeah, we're gonna take
Well,
it.
that camera's
and
being a weird.
Lob it.
Okay. With the trifecta, make a ranged attack roll at advantage with your strength.
Okay, not terrible. Not terrible.
If only you were still juicing.
That's terrible. That's the same number.
What was it?
6.
6. You huck it over the side of the
I
boat,
rolled 2 4s.
and it just means it's gonna take half damage.
Okay.
I'm not rolling it.
I'm just-
Roll 10d6 for me, please.
I have 10d6.
Oh yeah, the little guys.
And it's gonna take half damage. So whatever that number is.
It's gonna be the biggest pussy.
God, that's a satisfying sound.
Just a huge
Sounds
cat.
like teeth.
Let's see how many 1s I can roll. Too many.
Wait,
Yahtzee!
What are those 6s? That's so
Oh,
many
okay.
6s.
Guys, loading it for you as you talk.
I'm not
Fire!
gonna look
So
at
go ahead and
it.
make your attack roll.
Not as good as it normally is. 10.
10. It just flies off into space, kind of seemingly like caught at a weird angle and just kind of like tumbles out.
41.
41 halved. That is a good number. So 21, we'll say,
Okay.
for
I'll
half.
take it. I'll take it.
Ooh, I just punched
I
the
will
mic.
take your
Do you
pity,
have more
God.
than one of those barrels or just the one?
No, I filled the 1. It took forever to fill the 1. I wanted
I
2. I wanted 2 separate fire bombs, but I
There
figured
better
that
be
wasn't
enough
happening.
alcohol to fill them.
So you
Bonus
There is,
action.
absolutely. There's enough
Listen,
alcohol
I'm
to fill
sorry I
4 or
yelled
5
at
of
you.
those fucks.
We need to
But I don't have
load this properly.
time.
Okay? I'm not gonna eat you. Yet.
he begins kind of like setting the thing down. So you hurl it between the two of you guys, like heave,
got it.
and it doesn't get as much distance as you want, but suddenly it just erupts in this like conflagration in the middle, in between the two, pushing the mimic back. It pushes your boat back. Everyone's kind of like to one side, but just says just massive fireball that sets part of the side of the mimic ship on fire for a minute.
Can I have a free action?
What's up?
I would like to scream at the night sky in Thieves' Camp. We light up the night!
One guy knows what you're saying. It's like, oh yeah.
That's
but-
epic! I like that.
But just boom, just
Fire.
this fucking explosion. You see the mimic kind of like to one side as it kind of corrects back and it brings its pseudopods back up. See if it rolls 1. It didn't. Still didn't.
You want to try one of Ma's dice?
Yeah.
We're rods.
Oh yeah, grab Ra's dice. Let's go.
Yeah. They're over there.
Okay,
Or that.
2 more solid hits.
They're all
Boom,
18s.
boom, just smash into the side of this thing. The ship is beginning to buckle and being pushed actually like physically away from this thing as it begins to keep moving forward and just beating the side of it.
Shatter time.
You're up. What are you doing?
Nearest ballista.
Okay. Well, he's at the one that you're closest to, so you see the other one's currently loaded. There's a guy standing there like he's got arrows, but he's just not like he's
read about them today.
he's like not the guy that shoots it usually.
I'm gonna head over there and
he looks like
strong arm him out of the way, take control of it. And
Okay. It is your action to fire it, so go ahead and make a dex-based attack roll. No proficiency, just d20 plus dex.
oh, that's good.
Unless you don't want.
Unless 16.
16 hits.
Hey.
Go ahead and roll 3d10, please.
3d10. Allow me to get some.
For damages.
There's a d10. That counts as a d10.
Dexterity.
And that's a d10.
Wait, that's a 200.
Yeah, I know. Makes it a 1. 14.
14. Okay, let me go ahead and mark that down.
I know, it was at the top. That's why I grabbed it. I was like, oh, well, that's a d10 now. 200 and d10 are the same thing. Hey.
Okay, so a secondary bolt
Hey.
sinks into the side from the other side. You can see as it hits one side of the ship, the whole thing kind of rocks to one side and just snarls as you see the teeth begin to reel back. And you see that Theta's on the other end fucking firing as well.
Good times.
Unleash the beast.
Can I?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Plus dex? No.
Natural 1.
Natural 1.
Oh.
Frrr, just gone.
I
Um,
apologized.
You hear a fisherman scream by the harbor.
No!
That
The gods!
was my son!
At least it wasn't the fisherman's wife.
Okay. That is the end of your turn. So it is now the mimic's turn. Being upset, it's
I'd
going
like to take a look around at the lifeboats, please.
Okay. There are currently 2 on the other side. There was 2 on this side, but now there's only 1 because the other one's been eaten. And actually, now that we're talking about it, he's been beating this side for a minute. The other one's gone too. So there's only 2 left, and they're on the far side away from you.
That's fine.
But as you've exploded it and then shot it a couple times, you see that the sort of like front mouth part is like starting to open again, and it lunges forward. This time using its toothuses.
See, if we could have fucking gotten him to eat one of the fire bombs, game.
As my rolls should, I rolled 2 4s. I
Well,
think
that's
trying
what
to
I'm
get him to gulp it would not have.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just
If I had Legolas with the flaming arrow,
no, just
we
roll persuasion. Doesn't this look tasty?
don't eat this.
As the
Reverse
teeth
psycho.
pull back, I'm gonna need you to make a dexterity saving throw, sir.
Oh.
No.
But that would have been nice.
It was cocked on a natural 20.
Yeah.
15.
15. You as you see it begin to pull back, and its mouth begin to open impossibly large, and soon you're looking at the face of death. You instinctively realize that it is rushing straight towards your position, so you back out and jump out of the way as this thing just and just takes.
What about the guy?
I kind of want to save the guy that's there.
No, fuck him.
No, fuck you.
Well, then I will give him advantage. That's kind.
He was like,
Yeah. So as you start leaving, Brap, you grab the back of his shirt, and he like looks at you, and there's like this moment of understanding. You guys are bros, and then you just jump out of the way as the teeth come down and just takes the whole section. You notice that it's like now it's just an open maw in that area. There's people below deck that are like shrieking out.
Some dude's on the toilet. Like,
I'm in the wrong place.
This is really fortunate for me.
But
There it goes.
yeah, there's now a hole there, and there is no ballista where you're currently at.
Well, damn it.
Okay. That is the end of the mimic's. That is the end of the mimic's
Boys
turn.
downstairs, have we got a fucking salvo going? My dude looting it.
Yep, he already loaded it for you.
I'm gonna take another chance to fire.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll. Plus.
Cocked. The
Okay.
edge is up.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
60-10.
24.
60-10. Go ahead and roll damage, please. So many D10s. What are you doing while that happens?
All right.
Thank you.
Point to the dude. Name.
Actually, yeah, give me some d10s.
Let me pull up their names from the fucking boat.
Do you want me to touch them? Well, the answer to that is no.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I
a
just
lot
feel
of
it back.
dice.
Shit, where is he?
Woohoo!
Well, shit
Yeah.
and great.
It's Yuma.
Trade grips with him. Grab the forearm like a pirate bro.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations, you survived death. I'm going down to the cannons. And then I'm
Me too. And then he like
And
follows
then we go
behind
down. I go down again.
37.
Try to fucking help out down there somehow.
Okay.
Oh, it was a D6.
All right, so you run down to the you run below deck. He follows you. You notice that in the area where the maw was currently like ripped out, you notice that there's a dead guy. One of the cannons is kind of cocked to one side, and it's currently not manned. So you go ahead and take up that one. The guy begins like loading it for you. He's taking his time, getting everything ready, and then together you guys push it with your shoulder to get it into position. So go ahead and make an attack roll, please.
Have my damage. 37.
37.
Is that plus anything? Dex again? No.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Oh yeah, it's Dex. For
Dice.
your
That's a 8.
8 to hit.
Yes.
You unleash the fury below, and as it fires off, there's this like, and then
Wet powder.
and then like both of you kind of panic, and he begins like stuffing more
Yeah,
powder
no,
inside.
sorry, that was my bad first time.
This never happens to me.
What was the damage again?
37.
37. Why'd you have to make this difficult on me?
3 10s, a 5, and then a 2.
Math is so much easier when it's
Yeah.
with you.
Apparently not. I need to fucking stroke out.
Cha, bro.
Stop. Stop, dude.
I did it differently. Anyway, so
Okay.
that's
Then add a 3 back.
that's my defiance. No, I just did the 10s first, and then I just looked at what that was and minus 7 from that.
Was
So-
it already a 7?
Anyway, so it is now the mimic's turn. He's going to attack with that's an natural 20, and that is a 2, which still barely hits. And he is going to roll.
You ready?
Too many dice.
Actually, one is not 29, 28
Strength up, though.
minus 29.
Strength, charisma, and constitution.
So as 3 massive hits just bump into the side of this thing, 2 of them seem to leave lasting impacts that kind of splinter parts of the ship away.
I don't know how
You're looking at a ship that's
Okay.
potentially going to sink
Yeah.
as it breaks apart slowly.
Is Hexblade.
You notice that occasionally the little pseudopod will stick to a person and it'll pull him with it,
I didn't know.
yanking him off the boat. All right,
Back to the board.
you're up, and so are you.
Do I still have my dude loading shit? He get magic away.
You know, he's
Okay. I was worried he was one of.
he's your boy.
Woohoo.
Alright, I'm gonna take another shot.
12.
Okay, go ahead. 12 for yours. To hit. Does not hit.
Yeah, it's a broadside of a
Penis.
23.
23.
It's Dex, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 23.
It is the long side of a fucking boat mimic.
bomb.
So you have like the little. He hands you the torch. You light the cannon for a minute. You both kind of hold back, and there's this. As it.
It's not bad at all.
Damn it!
Though a couple of the guys that are next to you, both kind of like a couple of like the powder guys are just looking at you, and then they begin loading up the bottom cannons too. Kind of like taking up
21.
21 damage.
Guy who's not even a fucking boat guy.
I don't know if it's going to help
Chabra.
us get a ride or not
Chabra.
help us get a ride. We got it,
It's
but
gonna
we don't
not
have to
help us
fight.
get a ride. This
Chances
ship is
are
not gonna
this
be-
ship's not going nowhere.
To get, like, a new ship.
All right, so as you fire off the ballistade again, it sinks into the side of the mimic, and once again, it just kind of like pulls to one side, and there's this like very loud echoing sort of like there's just like snarling like foam coming out of the front of its mouth as it's just screaming angrily. That is the end of your guys' turn. It's going to take its attack.
How does it look?
It seems just fine.
Okay.
It's got like 4 arrows in it. That's about it.
a
I'm
ship
going to
with 4
turn to the guy loading my ballista and tell him not to load it again.
Okay.
I have another thing for us.
I have four crafts.
Okay. Both of his hit. Okay. So as it begins moving forward, it begins beating into the side of this thing again, just splintering parts. Now the main mast has just been snapped clean off, just punched almost clean through as it begins to fall to one side and fall into the water. There's a couple of surprise shrieks as the guy up top just gets fucking freedomed, you know.
Land on the. Oh, okay.
No, goodbye. Goodbye, buddy. Yeah. If he skips more than 4 times, it's good luck. So that is the end of its turn, but this ship is just slowly imploding as it seems to be like buckling. You notice you can hear like this groan as the ship begins to like give away under its own weight. It's still standing and it's gonna have a little bit longer, but it's gonna go.
All right. I'm gonna pull out that sack of dust that I have, and I'm gonna give the guy a pinch. I'm gonna take a pinch and go over the side, and hold on, and sprinkle them pinches over the side of the
Okay.
boat.
All right, and it's 15-foot cube, right?
It's been 2 of those.
So yeah, 30-foot cube of water. Okay, are you guys holding on?
Yeah.
I told him to hold on. I'm holding on.
Yeah, it's with you.
Okay, cool.
All right, 1 second. Let me see if this thing has any immunities to positioning. Negativo.
I was
So-
gonna say, that'd be some bullshit if he did, because I don't think anybody's pulled this attack on him ever.
So, as you both take pinches and you just huck it into the water, the guy seems kind of confused, but he grabs onto the front of the boat, and as it does, it touches in like 15 foot of cubic feet of water, just and both boats bam into each other with like this loud crack. I need you to make a strength saving throw, please.
Oh boy, howdy. Wish it wasn't that.
Nice.
Fuck. Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Plus 1, so 21.
Do you need me to make one?
Yes, please.
Okay.
At advantage because you're holding onto the railing.
That's not the character I'm playing. That's right. 17 for me.
17. Both of you manage to hold on as your buddy into the water. Thunk. Yours off the front gets just like tumbles ass over end into the water.
As he flies, I'm gonna say, "You did okay."
You are adequate. But they both collide. Gargantuan, we'll say. Let's go ahead and roll some damage here.
Well, technically they're both unarmed, so like
Fucking- We'll do. Wow. I'm sorry. Okay, carrying on with my life.
Yeah.
I rolled 5d6 for the damage for it, and it did not roll well.
5.
It was not. It wasn't even a fucking double digits.
Okay, I'll wait till my next turn.
Okay. All right. I will say that
Action.
the mimic is at disadvantage for its attack, sir. Your thing, by the way,
Alright.
because he went. That's your turn.
He
He loaded the cannon before
It's your turn.
he fell.
fire it, and then I have another
My
idea.
stomach.
Okay.
Oh.
Go ahead. Unleash the fury.
15 plus 2 is 17.
That hits. Go ahead and roll 8d10, please.
D10.
It's gonna be exciting soon.
1.
Good start.
Come on.
7.
That was
God.
almost a 1 again.
10.
Yay!
I'm keeping tally.
8. 8. How many more? You said 60? 10?
It's 8d10.
8. Oh, fuck, that's only 5. 8. 10. 4. And last one. 3.
51.
51. That's a solid hit. Okay. So, as that
You're good. You don't have to look. You're good.
51.
Yeah, 5-1.
What's that in? Alright. So
Okay.
as that, as your cannon erupts in front of you, this finally at full effect, just this loud cacophonous explosion pushes the cannon back several feet. You kind of like have to jump out of the way, not expecting it to go as far as it does.
Put a
And-
little extra powder in there.
And your whole body kind of reverberates from just that like shockwave of the explosion. It smashes right into the front like upper face of this thing, and it like pushes it away from the boat, and it kind of like it makes like this like hurt like sound as it like gets pushed backwards, and then it like turns full force back towards the ship.
Now I know why people use cannons.
Okay, both hit. So
Dick feels like concrete.
so it is boop boop 27, 29. Okay, as it lashes out angrily and now seemingly a little panic, it just begins battering the side of the ship. The whole side that you're currently on sounds like it's going to give away like any second as it's like sinking in on itself. And this thing is just swinging away. However, for this round, you'll get to go, and the other two cannons on this side will also get to go. So, top of the round, what are you doing?
I am going to use my bonus action to dash.
Okay.
Across the. How far? Wide is the ship, rather?
Wide is 35 feet.
Okay, then I'll use my bonus action to dash.
Okay.
And I'm going to hop into one of the
Boats. Okay.
And I'm going to shout, "Survivors, abandon ship."
Okay. So people begin kind of like turning to you on the top deck and begin running towards the boats, and they begin like jumping in them. Okay.
I'm gonna head up.
Okay.
Do I pass
His body? Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna grab his shit,
Mm-hmm.
get out. Is Raw anywhere to be seen?
He's currently holding on below deck. He was holding on to Lucrezia, trying to keep her.
So I saw him downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him to get to a boat
Okay, so he goes running up.
and toss Zongak shit to him.
Okay.
And I need a grappling hook.
Okay. There's one in the bags, I'm sure. Grab that.
Going up topside.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to hook it to the mimic, cause I'm going over.
Okay. So you.
You're going
So
over
he's
the mimic?
screaming surrender. I'm screaming mount the mimic.
Just all kinds of confusion. Both of you make persuasion checks.
That doesn't-
Persuasion's garbage, right? Yes. Flat 12.
It's a tweet.
17.
17. People are kind of looking back and forth. A couple people are already in the boat with you. They're like, and they're not getting out. But a couple of the other guys were like, look to the captain. The captain's like, kill it! And they just begin grabbing stuff. All right. That's the end of your turn. So the other two cannons are going to fire. That is a natural 20.
Yay!
Whoop.
Holy fuck.
And that is a. No, that's not going to hit, unfortunately.
Natural 20 is a lot. It's like fucking 16d10.
It's 90. 101, actually. Damage.
Nice.
Slightly above mean.
Slightly above me.
Mean.
Average.
That first version.
160 is max damage.
I could do more than that.
So,
Could you?
80's medium damage.
Okay. As the two others rocket down from below, you hear these loud explosions, and both hit with these deafening impacts that push the mimic back for a minute. Go ahead and make your athletics check to throw your grappling hook.
Oof. Not as great as I would have liked. 10.
10. You throw it wide, and as both cannons erupt and smash into the side, your thing just swings down, and you reel it back in. All right, it is the mimic's turn. Heats. Okay. The first swing that comes down is you throw your first swing and you watch one of the, you can almost hear it too, this like, and it begins to pick up speed as it comes down, almost like a kraken tentacle, and it just straight through the center of the boat. Both sides just give out. Both of the boats that you're currently on smash into each other and then begin lowering down, not by anyone's design other than the ship's collapsed in half. People begin screaming. A couple people are knocked off and then fall into the water. The captain is launched off the boat, and the boat begins to
Towards the mimic or away?
away. Everyone's being like knocked that way. But the first hit smashes the boat in half, and then you notice the other one begins to go into the cannon deck and just punch straight through it. The ship is dead. But
Oh no! Can it make a saving throw?
no, it's it.
Yeah, it can. It failed.
Darn it!
It is at negative 23 health.
Someone cast mending.
It is down. So, what are you guys doing as everything goes tits up?
I want to make one more attempt to mount the mimic.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack roll.
I would like to draw my dagger in.
Okay.
And how big's the boat?
The boat you're currently on? Probably it's probably like a larger end escape boat. So
Fucking
maybe
wish.
like 15 feet.
Perfect. I'll draw my chain dagger, and I'm gonna attempt to whack at the ropes.
Okay, yeah, you just begin
Cut the ropes.
chopping the ropes off. Yeah, it's not.
With
So
athletics, it was 17.
17. And it begins to cascade through the air and hooks onto the front of the ship there. Okay.
I'm going up.
Okay, so make an athletics check to
Have
climb.
you seen a rock?
Ra's in the other boat that's been knocked out. And as he sees you, he begins to cut at his restraints.
5.
5. You swing out and just kind of like.
Oh!
Yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna take 1d6 non-lethal.
No.
You take 3 points of non-lethal damage.
I am unconscious.
Yeah. So you get and then into the water. Bloop. So that is the end of your turn. What is the plan, ladies and gentlemen? Because
Well, his is to drown because he's
Well,
like,
no, he's
in
gonna
the
float.
Water.
he's gonna float
Ow.
Hmm?
Just float for a little bit.
because he's just gonna go bloop, and then your body's naturally buoyant. Depends on which way.
Unless he's
I have-
face
Flip a
first.
coin.
Yeah.
Heads is face up. Tails is face
Yeah.
down.
I have armor though.
It's fine, unless it's plate mail.
Slut. Heads is her sexy face.
Well, yeah, it's her head.
Just see what happens.
Oh, tails! Face
So you are
down.
face down. So you will drown in a number of minutes equal to your Constitution modifier plus 1.
So that's 6 minutes.
4 minutes.
No, 4.
That's my con save.
4 minutes.
Yep.
So he's got 4 minutes of being.
What do I mean? Do you want
Guess
me to
what?
just
Our
make death saves?
boat's not going near.
Huh?
Do you want me to just make death saves to count for the 4 minutes?
No.
All right.
We'll wait 4 minutes. See what happens. So,
I'll set a timer.
you guys begin floating kind of away. The mimic is just battering the ship, and it seems to be scooping up people from the water and bringing them into its mouth, just eating them. People from the ship, and the ship begins to kind of. Your boats are pulled towards it as the from the ship actually sinking. That current begins to draw the boats near, and everyone.
As soon as we hit water, I'm gonna scream at these men. To the harbor! Put your backs into it!
They begin all just grabbing oars, and they're all just flailing wildly before one of them's like, "We need to be in sync," and then they kind of like get their shit together for a minute, and both boats begin.
I've got the chain dagger on me. I'm gonna get the dagger in the end of the chain, and I'm gonna start whacking it against the side of the boat to get a rhythm.
Okay.
And just
Sure.
I have no drum.
Make a performance check.
Okay.
I just want
I'm
to see.
bad at those.
I want to see if it's good.
Hey, 15.
Yeah, easy enough.
Right?
You're just
Yeah,
like
performance is plus 0.
thud.
So.
People are like, at first they're like, "What is he doing?" And then they're like, "Oh," kind of like naturally go into the.
One guy starts singing, "Oh."
So you guys begin pulling away. The mimic scene's content to just rip pieces up.
There's a poor pig on that boat.
No!
Poor pig.
Him will put down with you!
There is a poor pig on that rope.
We'll
Hey,
go
pigs
down
can swim.
with this shit. Wait.
Is he tied to the boat?
He's in the
Yo,
cell.
he might not even be on that boat
Oh,
anymore,
he's
though.
down at the bottom.
Yeah, he's in a.
Oh my god! We're gonna get peed up.
Oh, he's
This.
Rip Pig 2018 to 2018.
Can you pull up lizard folk for me? Do
What
they
the
have
fuck?
amphibious? I think it's in
Rolos?
Rolos.
That's like the cruelest thing.
That's amazing.
It's an unfortunate side
Well,
effect.
okay, wait, no, okay, because he's in a cell. So there's a 50 or maybe probably
They
a
don't,
30%
I don't
chance.
Because I thought they either got like a bonus to it or something. Because
There's a
that would be
30%
amusing.
chance
I thought
that
they
the
just
cell
got
he was
swim.
in was smashed.
I don't remember. That's why.
And the cell he was in was smashed. Pigs can swim. They are fatty and they are naturally buoyant.
What do you think happened there?
I don't know,
Well,
man.
that's-
You'll never know.
That's a percentage study. We don't know that. We might run into that fake.
He might pop up.
With
What?
the essence of Zongak in it.
Yeah.
Oh, he could hold his breath up for 15 minutes.
That's
So
Well-
you're fine for 15 minutes.
What do you mean? I'm unconscious. I'm not holding my breath.
Oh, it's out though. But he can survive though. It's like an alligator.
It just.
Yeah, it just closes up and you're just floating there.
15 minutes then.
15 minutes.
Well, I mean, if
much
that's the
longer
case,
death for you.
I already had that.
What do you
What's up?
Hold breath.
Oh yeah, you have that as a spell too, but you didn't cast it.
Yes, sure I did.
But you get 15 minutes worth of floating in the ocean.
Sweet.
Which is way better than 4.
Yeah. Maybe the mimic will take mercy on me like, you know what?
Eat
I
you.
respect this
He
guy.
just pushes you away. Like, eh.
Flicks you. You land.
I mean-
I only eat boats.
Take 30 points of damage.
I mean, it's you bounced off the side. It's eating this boat here. It's snooping people up that are in this area, but you're just kind of floating.
Yeah.
And then the current's gonna push you back towards the harbor naturally.
Or
It's gonna
towards
take
the
longer than
mimic.
15 minutes. But
Is he anywhere near like the people?
How
like?
how rough are the seas?
It's smooth right now. Like it's like rolling, but not like anything.
Not enough to put the first
I mean,
number in.
mostly like, it's tumultuous right now because the thing is just thrashing and eating the boat.
Lucky wave.
Or unlucky wave sucks me under the fucking mimic.
Make a perception check.
Okay. That's not great. 14.
14. I would say you'd barely be able to make out his form from the distance, but it's like way out there, and you'd have to go past the mimic to get it.
How far?
You'd probably have to go around him like a good like. He's probably within like 50 feet of the thing.
How far is he from me?
Well, since you guys are rowing away, probably like 200 feet, so you'd have to
Okay.
like turn all the way around.
I was trying to think about. Could I safely get him without getting in range of the mimic?
If you can convince all the people to roll back towards
If
the
you can
mimic.
convince all the people to row back, maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe.
Definitely
Like
yes.
no, like you're looking at 50-50 because if it takes a stray glance, it's got like 10 eyes. Then it'll lash out at you too.
I don't think that's a theta move, bro.
It's really not. I will take, as the men row away, I'm going to reach in my pocket and take a gold coin and hold it up and toss it towards him.
Bloop.
Yeah.
Okay. That is it. That's it. So Ma floats away. I think that's a good place to end. We have 30 minutes, but I think it's a good place
You
to
want to
end.
end it there? You want to take us back to the harbor? And
I mean, you guys will eventually make it back to the harbor. The thing's not going to chase. It's going to eat all these things.
you want to take me, Ra, and this one back to the harbor?
What happened to him?
Huh?
I
He's floating.
float away.
We
And
don't know
then-
what happens to
No.
him. We're not there.
I know what happens
Maybe
to
he
him.
drowns. Maybe a mermaid comes and rapes him. Who knows?
That would be awful.
Sorry, merman.
I didn't
Don't
want
worry.
to.
Reverse mermaid at least. Damn,
Anyway,
man.
so with that being said,
Why are we ending so soon?
It's a pretty good place to end.
I think that's a pretty good spot to end today's session. Eventually, do you guys I'll narrate us out. So as the kind of horror begins to end, you guys are you're making your way. The guys seem to tire and they slow their rowing pace, but ultimately you're still gliding at a decent move. As you guys reach back towards the harbor, there's a crowd of people, all old and young, and some of the young are like crying. The older people watching like horror as this whole thing unfolds from the harbor. The harbor master that you met earlier with his one milky eye is kind of like, he looks a little shocked, like he's probably seen some shit, but he'd never seen something like that. And he's just like, he begins like moving out kind of like with purpose as he helps you guys pull the boats up and dock them, and helping people get off. They begin to.
As the harbor master pulls us out, just bewildered, I'll say to him, "It was a mimic. The whole ship was a mimic."
He's like looking at you, and he's just like, "Yeah, I saw." And then he begins like pulling people out. He's checking them over. Some people have like splinters in them. They have like these deep gashes, and from just taking damage from being battered around. He begins to pull them out. He's looking at people, and he's like,
Suicide?
"Get this one. You get this one. You bring this one." And he's just like kind of like doing the thing, you know? Yeah, he's just like pulling them out. He's an older gentleman, so he's seen some shit.
Especially today.
That is where we're going to end today's session. We're ending a little early due to the gravity of everything that's transpired. So with that being said, we are going to end it here. We're going to be down, and we'll come right back with a little bit of a talk back. You can ask us questions. We can do these. We do a little back and forth. We talk about characters and everything like that, the game, the premise, all that stuff. Yeah, you guys. If this is your first episode, I'm sorry that you walked in on what appeared to be a slog, but. Thanks for hanging out.
If you're here, hang out for the talk back. We won't be down that long. It's just
Yeah.
enough time for 2 or 3 of us to pee and then
back up. So
But, yeah, today's a great day. We've got time to talk. And We'd love to chat with you about what you think or anything like that. If you feel up to talking in chat, we're here to welcome you.
we'll be right back. Please bear with us. See you guys in a second.
Let me go ahead and do this.
trying.
in there.
I'm trying to revive a
Yeah.
dry erase marker.
Oh, look,
It's
it's
just
the Mama Dog.
All right, so
I
I am. I have my earbuds in.
As a rank of 30 feet.
we lost a marker today. Can you believe
That's
it?
how
We lost
fucking
a whole
sour this
marker.
section is.
Alright.
We lost a goddamn marker.
So we are back. So everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed the show so far. Today's session was surprisingly brutal. We had 2 members die, and 1 was unable to assist. 2 were unable to assist. So we're down 2 party members. So they're going to be working on their characters off to one side while we continue our
Team suicide.
we talk about. So at the end of each session, we usually do a talk back where people can discuss. You can ask us questions about our game, about our setting, about the world, about the characters, minus that table, until they figure their shit out. Yeah. So how's everybody feeling?
I feel great.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel pretty
I got
fucking
a nice
great.
ride home.
I'm pretty sure my distraction worked.
So everyone
For the
gets
most
2
part.
actions per turn. Negative. You get 1 action per turn, but you have an action and a bonus action. Things that are a bonus action have to specify that they're a bonus action. You don't get to do things as a bonus action if you don't.
Attack is part of your action, though.
Yeah. At level 5, people can attack twice instead of once. That's just part of your action.
Oh, where's my...
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
No, you couldn't have.
I could have, but
you
like,
But I was awake.
could have done that today at all. Yeah, this is the most ridiculous episode we've ever had
Yeah, it was
Ever.
pretty great.
from all of our D&D
That
episodes.
all went weird.
From
whole
from-
thing went-
from when we all. I mean, the thing that sucked is that we just had time to get anything back and not enough potions. I kept those 2 potions in reserve for as long as humanly possible, and then I had
This
to use
shit
one.
went so far sideways, we ended up in space Mexico.
Pretty
Space
much.
Jersey?
What's an example of a bonus action?
Second wind, stealing yourself from fighters have second wind, which allows them to regain health. That's a specific bonus action. When you take the attack action, if you do 2-weapon fight, you can make an additional attack as a bonus action, but only if you do that.
Bonus actions are
I'm
typically
doing the
laid out in the player's
Yeah.
handbook or the Dungeon Master's Guide and tell you basically you have to do something to get extra out of your bonus action. Otherwise, your bonus action is just like a part of it. Because you have your action, you have a bonus action, and you have a reaction.
Actually, I can
So
show you.
reaction happens when something happens to you. You can react to it, obviously. And then there's a bonus action that is something you can do in addition to your normal action, and it's not usually as big as your action, but it's something small. One of those exceptions is I'm a rogue, and rogues get cunning action. So as a bonus action, I can dash, disengage, or hide, which is really helpful to my class because we don't have a lot of hit points. So, and my armor class is low.
I have like a little chart. So this is like how combat's supposed to go, and then this is what you can do with your turns. So this is like
I know
movement,
sometimes I can get like
interaction,
armor
you
and
don't ever really
stuff.
do action.
Well,
Bonus action and a reaction.
grave.
So that's what I use a
And
lot.
then some things cause you to sacrifice your reaction
Which your level
to
1.
do them. So then, like, you use your reaction to make an opportunity attack when something crosses
So you
your
get
path.
medium armor.
And if you've done something that sacrifices your reaction,
So
then
as
you
long
can't
as
make
you
those
have
opportunity
+2 to
attacks.
your dex, it'll be maxed out.
And then monks can burn key points to do a lot of different bonus
Yeah,
actions.
some classes can use that bonus action
Intelligence
space
with Dex.
to do shit.
-1 for
And then like there's a couple things.
There's a. Can I see the player's handbook real quick?
You'll be.
16.
Are they still using it?
I don't need to close it. I just need the player's handbook real quick.
That's cool. I don't think I need it.
If you don't have it,
Do you need charisma?
this guy outlines like 90% of the shit you need to know. It's just a very
I
dense
like having
book.
charisma.
But the player's handbook does a really good job of laying out all of those stipulations and what each class gets to do and how those
So you'll
classes
be
work.
have
There's
+3
also,
damage.
I mean, you can buy it from Wizards of the Coast. It's expensive because it's the book you need, but you can also find PDFs of it
+3 to your
online.
AC.
So, for completely free because piracy is a thing. I
Don't do that.
encourage
Support the
you to
official
have it.
release.
Don't
Please support the official
Yeah.
release.
Yeah, please support the official release.
Yeah, it's, the game is fantastic. So,
It really is.
Um,
I mean, clearly, we've been playing it for how many
you
years?
said the
What's the
craziest.
number we're going with now? 10 years?
10 years, like 10 years now, right? 15
Pretty
years.
sure
15 years.
Is it 5?
20, 31 years. I was playing before I was born. Like,
My mom
Uh,
rolled for my birthday.
right? Rolled my stats.
Technically 3 years, right?
Is it 3 or is it 4?
I think it's 3.
3?
Well,
I think that's
also-
2015.
Yeah.
February 2015.
But with that being said, it was definitely probably the craziest 2 episodes we've had back to back. I mean, that series of bad luck that just goes even
So-
further
I
down.
don't think it was bad luck.
It
not
was bad
luck.
luck.
Or-
It was
Today
bad luck.
planning.
Well, yeah, both.
You cast
I mean,
spells.
Well,
no,
just
but
that-
everything was out of our
That's your big
hands.
deal.
Like, we
No, it
couldn't
wasn't.
rest.
more backline.
Yeah, but if we had
Because
planned
we tried
better,
to.
if we had planned better, we would have
Beforehand.
had more. And I thought about it in the moment, but I didn't have a chance to do it. But we could have signaled the ship as soon as
Yeah,
we
so-
killed that space ghost.
Simpler.
Coast to coast.
Medium armor, shield.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah,
time.
we totally would have
Simple
time.
weapons.
Because we had an hour
Yeah, you guys were in the hold for like an hour, hour and a
Yeah.
half.
But
of me getting stuff together and him dragging people into the captain's quarters.
You could use a
You didn't get enough time to get a short rest. But we had a
But
solid hour
also-
before those things started going.
Oh,
Oh, we need to check shit out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we absolutely could have flagged them down and gotten the fuck off the ship. I don't know what would have
Like
happened
crossbow.
then. I don't know if the mimic still would have attacked at that point or what.
It
But
would have. It was waiting for the other ship.
Wasn't spear.
That's what it was waiting for.
Spears.
I thought we were waving down to get a rowboat over to us. I didn't think we were getting the whole ship.
They, in the beginning when they all talked, they explained that flag it down when it was safe because they were gonna swing up and get you, but also reclaim the boat basically because there's another ship there. You know, if it's still seaworthy, they can just repair it, and no worthy privateer is gonna turn
Yeah,
down having a
I mean,
secondary
ship's
vessel.
expensive.
Yeah. So they were like, sweet, everything's safe, and then, but the thing about a mimic is they're extremely patient.
Yes.
That's why it was taking you cutting on it and stuff, and it wasn't really liking, because like it's not wood, it's chitin. You
Yeah.
know, it's not. Those weren't ropes. Those are like fibers. That part of it. Everything there was part of it.
sucks for him.
Yeah.
Not really. How many hit points did it have?
500.
Yeah.
500, and it can't take damage unless it takes more than a certain amount. Ships have something called a damage threshold, which means they cannot take damage from any source below a certain
So if
amount of
somebody
damage.
shoots an arrow at it, it goes thunk, and it goes, yeah, I take that arrow, but it doesn't do anything
Yeah.
to the ship.
But it's not like a ship though, right?
No, but due to its size and its armor capacity, I qualified it as a ship, but I lowered it down. So like
That's an elder
its
mimic.
its attacks against the ship had to roll over a 25 because the boat had a damage threshold 25. Anything below 25, it takes 0 damage. Anything over 25, it takes the normal whatever it is. But the mimics was 10, so you had to roll over 10 damage in order to even hurt it. So that's why his attack of 2 did
Just did
nothing.
nothing.
No, I
Yeah,
have to pick
so-
something besides.
That makes sense.
It was less, but it was still pretty comparable. But yeah, so you guys got to meet a ship mimic. How does it make you feel?
That's crazy. Yeah.
You know, I thought I was a
didn't see it
genius.
coming.
And then I googled it, and somebody, like one guy, was like, "Hey, look at this thing I made," and I was like, "Oh,
well,
but I did it
They were
already."
saying that's what the new Pirates movie does.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, really?
Spoilers, by the way. Yeah, I didn't know either. I hadn't
Yeah,
seen
and
it.
Pirates of the Caribbean, the big villain, who is like missing parts, his ship comes up like that, but instead of having a maw, it wraps its ribs around the other ship and pretty much crushes
That's it. That's interesting.
That's different. It's different.
Well, I'm glad.
And I
It
mean,
was-
This
the
a slow
internet.
chip
The
away.
internet won't believe us, but he had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I gave up
I
on
haven't seen
Pirates after Orlando Bloom
Did you use that
went with the ship.
Yeah, I think I watched.
I don't.
Yeah.
I
I
don't.
watched it for Keira
How many
Knightley in
are
a thin
there?
shirt. Let's be honest here.
How many
Like-
Pirates movies are there?
7 or 8.
Are there
No.
7 of them? Are you
So.
fucking kidding
Google
me?
it. I'm pretty sure there's like 7 of them.
Sure.
They've been coming out
How
for
many
years.
Pirates of the Caribbean movies are there?
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
5. There are 5.
Oh, okay.
You shut your whore mouth.
That was me. But
I'm blaming you.
That's how we.
You always do.
we used to-
I know.
5 counting.
I'm checking. We got Pirates of the Caribbean T, Pirates of the Caribbean D, Pirates of the Caribbean at, Pirates of the Caribbean O, and Pirates of the Caribbean D. It doesn't give me more than that in the display.
That's not the newest one, is it?
Yeah,
there
sure,
another
why
one
not?
out now?
Yeah, that's to do with the
we're learning about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Dead
maybe.
Men Tell No Tales.
Is there one out now?
I thought there was one that just came out.
That
And
one's
On
then
out now?
Stranger Tides.
Shit.
I think
that was the new
one.
one.
Was that one with the rocks that were crabs?
No,
I think I
At World's End.
that was the one with the
At
rock.
World's End, where they go over the edge of the world, because that makes sense. That's canon. Dead Man's Chest.
You rolling for
and
health there,
Black
kids?
Pearl, right? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. Well, that was like when I found out how many saws there were.
Yeah.
That
I watched the first one.
how many saws movies? Hey, I understood.
So, yeah, that all happened.
how many Saw movies are there?
8.
7.
8.
Ah,
There are
time.
8 Saw
I guess.
movies. What the fuck?
That's good stuff.
They're
So,
like, hey.
if you guys have any questions, please post them in chat. We
Yeah,
can't see it.
please.
Ask us about the session. I'm sorry if you tuned in for some Zongak and some Maw, because they are no more. All those carefully laid plot points.
Hey, Theta survives.
Yeah.
Theta always survives.
You know. Keep saying that.
It's
Keep
his
saying
modus
it.
operandi.
Keep saying it.
I mean,
I got you.
he'll run. Until he meets his worst enemy, which is just a giant electromagnet.
Oh, I figured it'd be somebody that runs faster than him.
What about something that works
You can run.
yeah.
Right.
You can't run from a magnet. I mean,
Like,
you can.
He doesn't find like a. Is that what he said? Sorry, I thought it was getting cool. He doesn't find
I don't
like, a
think you're
feature,
gonna like this.
Is backstory for characters important, or is it more of just a for fun?
It
thing?
depends on the game.
Depends on the game.
DM.
In our context, I do want the backstories to be important, but it doesn't for all games. I've played plenty of games that are plenty of fun without having a backstory. You know, you
I'm a
play
good guy.
Yeah, play the game. I mean, just play to play. Certain groups like certain things, and as you play, you'll develop your own style and what you think is more, what you like better than other things. You know, you might like combat more than story. You might like story more than combat, and so.
Some DMs use their backstories to like fit in the plots.
And that's a big thing too, because I've seen games played where
Because that way, when somebody
the
moves out of
DM
range,
felt the
you could
backstory
also
was
hit
very
with the spell.
important,
Yeah.
As a
and the
reaction.
characters felt their own backstory was just fluff. So then the DM reached into their backstory and pulled shit out, and the person was like, they're like, oh, and then this person comes out and it's your sister, and they go, I have a sister? What the fuck's her name?
yeah.
And you're just like,
Oh.
that
Yeah.
takes all the amazingness out
Yeah,
of it.
you-
Thanks.
You got. Oh.
I'm glad I
okay.
planned this whole thing out to plug on your heartstrings because your sister and your mother's dead. And all right, well, you know what? Fine, she's dead now. There you go. Like,
And then she explodes. She had that exploding
You're the
disease.
DM in this situation, right?
Poor Yuma the ballista loader.
no, I told
Yeah,
you.
right?
I told
Rip.
you my DM strategy for making backstories important, but not caring what players thought about that. It's the Mexican soap opera. It's
oh,
you
yeah.
get. I set a timer, and when the timer goes off, something else happens, no matter what the fuck else is
So
going on in
fun.
the game. And then you set another timer, and the characters can do it. And then 5 minutes later, the villain shows up,
Can
and
we
the
do a
villain does
12-hour?
his
Are
thing.
you gonna do that?
I might.
'Cause that sounds really
I need
fun.
to write it down.
Jesus.
But yeah, just basically, it's just
Good Jesus
plot
or bad
point.
Jesus?
Plot
Good
point.
Jesus.
Plot point, and you're just drug through the plot, and it's like, see what you can do to circumvent.
If you go in the DM's guide, there's something called plot points, where you can give your players plot points, where they can change the story for you on the fly, but they have to cash in the point. So it's like you have one for maybe 3 sessions, and then you.
No.
Yeah, and so like you're like, oh, this happens, and they're like, cash this in. Your mother appears, and this, like you could just fucking switch it up. That might be a fun way to do like a random game.
I'm gonna need a soundboard that has like a really bad soap opera sound, like the organ state.
Right?
You have all of them.
Yeah, but I mean, how many slots?
This,
Oh, I gotta figure out EXP, huh?
yeah, Experimente.
What do you guys-
Kill anything
I
this
mean-
round.
One zombie, but it was one skeleton, and it was him.
And
So we're
you don't
gonna-
have to calculate that at all, except for yourself.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
I
Sad
blew up
days,
a mimic,
man.
Though, kind of.
Huh?
I said I blew up a mimic, though, kind of.
Yeah.
I
I did not expect that to go that way. I thought it would be better, but it did not go
thought
that.
it too. I thought because I figured I'd get advantage from throwing it with the guy, and I was like, all right. And I rolled that 4, and I was like, shit. But I got advantage. I'll probably roll at least a 10. And if it's dex based, I got +4 to that, so that'll be. And then I roll. It was just another 4. And it was strength based, so it was only +2. So hooray!
I rolled really well the first half of the game. I was rolling like above a 17 on everything.
You sound so proud of yourself.
I'm not. I was like, oh, should have used some different dice.
Okay. That's all done.
My head keeps getting cut off.
So, just so you know, my alignment is CA. It's chaotic awesome.
Okay. Pretty
Dude,
sweet.
I'm excited.
It's the best alignment.
All right. So with that being said, I think we're gonna go down.
Yeah?
We had a good game. It ran a little short only due to some things. So I would like-
Due to all the
I would-
murders.
I would like a brief little time to talk to the guys offline, so that way we can get some shit hammered out. But thanks for hanging out with us. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you
Do you want to do the talk offline or online?
no offline.
Okay.
So that's the way it's a surprise. But with that being said,
Tune in next time.
thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you next time. This video will be up on YouTube probably before the end of next week, or before the next episode.
Yeah, but
I usually upload it the day we stream,
You were
so that way
better
both
about it
episodes.
at one point.
I was, but I think there needs to be a gap. Plus, most of our views come from Twitch anyway, so I'd rather just leave it on Twitch longer than leaving it on YouTube longer.
Yeah,
Um,
YouTube's mostly there for people that come in
Yeah.
new to the stream and go, what the fuck's going on? We go, right
So,
over there.
If you want to find out what happened in the past, go ahead and check out the YouTube link. If you're interested in the follower-only Discord, there is a link in the channel description. And we will be back next Monday for Monster Hunter Monday, and then we'll be back next Tuesday for the continuation of this game and probably the introduction of some new people.
I
So
gotta say, there's a couple people that do multi-hour streams, and I really appreciate that they upload to YouTube because I don't watch their streams riveted. I run them in the background a lot. I run them while I'm doing other things, like while I'm going through my Amazon lists and shit like that. So I'm really glad that we upload to YouTube because I think it's cool that other people can just throw it on because it's a D&D stream, you know?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to sit here and watch like an episode of a TV show. That's a 3-hour TV show, you know?
bye.
So having it there and picking up the plot points and listening to us screaming and going, and then jumping back a couple